Live.
Now I'm live.
Congrats.
Oh my goodness. Happy Monday.
Do you know why? Do you know why that happens?
Yeah, well, it's a weird thing. They put this extra step in where you have to
confirm.
Because I'm not just going live. Now that I'm going through the schedule, they have this really unnecessary step where I go. It's just a pain in the ass, and I'm sorry that it buggers up my beginnings. Eventually, we're going to have a band, horns.
Can I request that it be a mariachi band?
A mariachi band will be, probably at least, maybe we have more than one band. Maybe it turns into Jules Holland. Who knows? No.
That was one of the greatest concepts for a music show that I'd ever encountered, ever.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen Jules Late Night with Jules Holland,
it's the best.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Late Night?
I think it's called that. Or it's Late with Jules Holland or Later with Jules Holland. Or
yeah.
You just look up Jules Holland and it's a music show.
Jules is Jools. I don't know why his first name's like that. But it was just so amazing. They had like the camera in the center and then it would like pivot and dolly all the way to a bunch of different like little, it was almost like, have you ever been to the Natural History Museum where they have all those little dioramas set up where like they're like, this is like the woolly mammoths and then over here is like the saber-toothed tigers and then but they're all in this like little like their tiny little houses. Well, each band that's set up to play has like their own little section.
Yep.
And so the camera in the middle just swivels. And throughout, sometimes they'll even catch somebody from another band like watching across the room as the other band is playing. It's really wonderful.
It's pretty great.
I feel like I'm really, really surprised that they haven't done like an imitation show here. I don't even know where to find it. Where did we used to watch that? Do you know?
I don't remember. It was a lot of years ago. Mm-hmm. We actually...
It's an English show.
When we were working with John Legend,
mm-hmm.
We were writing a music show for him. And, we were like, well, do you have, like, is there a show out there? And he was like, Jules Holland is the greatest show ever. He's like, we can never be that, but if we can even like come close to anything like that.
Yeah.
It's funny. They got that new music competition show out now that's like on the road.
Yeah.
Which is sort of one step closer to the idea we actually had for the John Legend show, which was that he was going to go on the road and discover music and then bring it back to Capitol Records to jam with legendary musicians.
What if the show that you're talking about that's on now is the exact same show?
Well, then, I'm glad somebody made it. Humbly speaking, I'm glad somebody made it. I think it's
a good concept.
And it was something that, I contributed to. It wasn't just my idea. So, yeah.
Okay. I Am Bobo said, I know I have a lot of questions about the Steve Sarowitz, Claire, what's her name? Ayub audio.
Yeah. We're going to go over
Lee
it step
said,
by step.
I heard the audio this afternoon and I'm Bobo said, I heard it so many times.
Well, I've only taken out the clips that I think, we'll see. If it's okay, I'm going to still play this audio. Because I don't know if you've heard all the clips that I've heard. We can, or what, do you not want me to play the audio? Is that what you guys are saying? Are you guys like done with the audio?
No.
Because
I heard it so
up.
many times. There's so many questions. I think that they're eager to get into it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. Let me just cue up a couple of things really quickly. You're going to get a delay, unfortunately, in your headphones now, but you'll have to just live with that.
It's okay. I don't have to say anything.
We're here.
So what are you going to do? You're going to play the audio and then
we're going
to talk about it?
And then we're going to talk about them as we go through them. Because there's a lot. And I think there's a lot more to this than I've seen, at least on the surface so far out there. Maybe some other people are covering it in this kind of depth. But there's some depth to this that I think is really interesting. And it's a place where we can do some speculating. We can't know anything. But, there's some things like observationally before we even begin, I just want to say that, first of all, we listened to the whole 38 minutes. Mm-hmm. I actually I've scrubbed through the whole 38 minutes 3 times.
So did you trim it down to listen to it?
It's the whole file, but I've got markers.
You just selected?
It's all marked up. And so
I have a question.
Well, I was in the middle there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And one of my first early observation, not my first observation. Yeah, initially I felt this way, and then after listening to it multiple times, I feel this way even more strongly. And that is that I feel like the first thing you can really tell in this video, or in this audio, is that Steve Sarowitz is sad. Like,
sad?
He sounds heartbroken.
Why?
over the.
He doesn't just sound serious. He sounds sad.
No, he sounds sad to me. This is my observation. To me, listening to the tape, he sounds sad. He sounds like almost in a state of grief.
What?
And this is my observation.
No, but why do you think that?
Because I think he understands. This is what gets more and more interesting. He understood where this thing could go, like the bad that was coming with this thing, including this is why he was like, when you go over this audio, you can hear very plainly that he's like, look, if I've got to, I will. But he wants to avoid it. In fact, he says very plainly, like, hey, like, I don't think it's going to come to that. Because he doesn't want that. He just sounds somber to me, sad. He sounds melancholy. There's like a couple of moments where he perks up very slightly, and I can hear, like a tonal shift that I feel like really demonstrates like a different side to him that is not this melancholy. So maybe this is his default, sort of way of being. But to me, I feel like he's heartbroken. I feel like that's very clear. I feel like this has, all the blame. He puts all the blame. So sorry, I'm sliding off screen, guys. He puts all the blame on Blake Lively, of course.
Okay, I just also want to set this up too, just like for anybody that isn't really sure about the context of this audio. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So Claire Ayub, she directed a film that was produced by Wayfarer Studios. Okay.
Yes.
Produced or distributed, funded somehow, right? She thanks him for funding.
Right.
She had an issue with Justin Baldoni on set, or maybe at the premieres. I don't know if her film had premiered yet, but whatever. She had an issue, and she had requested from Wayfarer that he not be allowed on her set anymore.
Correct.
And not allowed to participate in any of the publicity or anything. She was like, I don't want to see this dude again.
It's so interesting that you say that, because there's like, it gets weird because like at the end, he Steve Sarowitz is all but trying to sell Justin Baldoni to her.
Yes. And I think he's got that in mind. So the reason why she recorded this audio
Which makes me think then he was intimidating her, potentially.
I think so too. I definitely think that he chose to relay this information to her specifically. I don't think she got the threat, but I think he was making a threat. Okay, but listen. So she said, I don't want Justin around anymore. And she said that Wayfarer was totally accommodating, that everything was cool. But then she hears from Steve Sarowitz's assistant that he is calling a meeting. And she's like, oh, okay, well, what's it about? He's not saying. There's no express topic for the meeting. And so she's just assuming that she's going to get dressed down by him, or that she's going to be somehow
over the Baldoni incident.
Yes. Or that something bad is going to happen. She's just assuming, because like you have to prepare for the worst. If you had what you perceive as a conflict, you thought it blew over, but then the big mahuff is calling a meeting with you. Like, you're just going to assume something's going to happen. Right. So that is why she's recording this conversation. And it sounds like it's a video call. Like, she says, nice to see you again, but he's obviously on a call. Like, you can hear his audio's different.
Right.
So I think she's doing, like, she's sitting and recording the Zoom on her computer or something.
So for everyone who's seeing this on your screen, you see these little markers. And these are the areas that I have some commentary on. Okay,
but when you have that commentary, are we going to get our audio back?
Yeah, you mean, will I turn off the delay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
You might have to remind me, because all right. So, okay, I'm about to just go live with this now, just so you know. All right, guys. So this is the very first clip I have selected. I called it Jamie Took the Heat. So let's just listen to this for a second.
Coming off the ends with us, Steph, I just want to say I see you, and it is exhausting. It's exhausting. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Jamie was the most exhausted out of everybody.
Was he was, I'm sure, the go-between with Sony, right?
He was the go-between. He was the one who was taking the brunt of the hits, because you didn't see the brunt of the hits, like the slam jobs on us.
Oh, I didn't.
No, because nobody saw it.
Right.
Jamie was stopping it. So Jamie was stopping the worst of the worst. There was a point where they were trying to slam the Bahá'í faith. He got that done and out. So, basically...
Who was? Was it Sony or was it public? Yikes. That's icky. That's icky.
Oh, they went after everything we had. Luckily, I was out of it. So, like,
I'm glad.
Nobody had mentioned me. But that's because I'm a nobody. I'm like, I'm nobody.
We know who you are.
Yeah, but
It's
nobody
kind of a
noticed.
blessing. Let me tell you, it's kind of a blessing.
I know. Well, that's right. No, there's all these things that, well, because Blake and Ryan paid for the movie. I'm like, really? Really? Send me a check.
Every time I've seen that, or some of the comments I see, or on the flip, they'll say that Blake sold her cut back to, and I was like, that's not how it works. You own the footage. Like, that's not how it, and people will say it so confidently. And they'll be like, yeah, because they bankrolled the movie. And I'm like, that's not how that's not how it works.
So I just felt like this was a pretty interesting moment because I feel as though I feel like he's getting, there's there's a foundation here of him not really knowing what's going on.
Yes. I don't know if you want to put this up, but I actually, I uploaded a screenshot of this. This is Exhibit 53. And this is a text message between Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath, where they are discussing keeping Steve Sarowitz in the dark. Where Justin Baldoni said, what does he know about Steve Sarowitz? And Jamie Heath says nothing. He knows that we got shut down for COVID. I haven't talked to him since then. So their COVID shutdown was in June of 2023. But all of May, right, the whole month before, there was a ton of sexual harassment allegations that Blake Lively had been very vocal about, right? Harassment by Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath.
Right.
So they're basically saying on this that they're deliberately keeping him in the dark about that stuff. So in this recording, when Steve Sarowitz is talking about how, nobody runs a set as nice as Justin Baldoni or whatever, Justin Baldoni sets are really great. Well, he doesn't actually know anything that's going on there. And he was talking about in that clip that you just played that Jamie Heath is like kind of the meat shield, like he's been the go-between with Sony and that he's been dealing with everything. So I think that they're deliberately handling everything so that nothing has to get back to Steve Sarowitz. So it's like
you can see the text there. I've put it on the screen for you.
He's speaking of ignorance here. Did you put it up?
Yeah, I put it up. I don't know if anybody can really see it, unfortunately, and I don't.
Yeah,
really...
it just says. So he said, okay, from the top. Justin's just by the pool listening to stuff, trying to release if you can want to come here today. And he says, I'm in Philly. Okay. Jamie, he says, conversation's going really well. Alex is in a good place. I'm going to set it up for you two to talk, but you shouldn't share all that I've shared about what she says about you other than what I say now. Let's keep it up. And so Justin's like, Kaloff called me. I don't know what that's supposed to be. What does he know? So maybe they're talking about Steve Sarowitz. Maybe they're talking about this person, Kaloff. I have no idea what that is. So he goes, so nothing about Blake or drama. Jamie Heath goes, nope, of course not. He knows that she wasn't happy about getting COVID. Justin says, I mean, he's fine. I know that stuff. He's fine to know that stuff. He's our guy. Okay, sorry. I was mistaken. They're talking about somebody else being kept in the dark. Okay, whoever Kaloff is.
Oh, it's not Sarowitz.
Okay, but further down it says, Justin says, I told Steve more today. Jamie Heath says, I talked to Steve last night also. I didn't share about the, in quotes, comments the ladies had feelings about. So he is not...
Which is a big fucking deal.
So Jamie Heath is not telling Steve Sarowitz about Justin Baldoni's comments that, in quotes, the ladies had feelings about. Okay?
What the text demonstrates is that they were definitely selective with what they shared with him or when they might have shared it with him. So we don't know what he knew or when he didn't or when he knew it. And maybe he doesn't also.
Jamie Heath says, didn't want to share anything you hadn't yet. These messages are sent May 28th, 2023. So that's so weird. The COVID shutdown happened the next month after. I guess I'm really confused about this. Nobody's an expert here. Justin said, I shared with him today. He said he should come by and he should come to sit and remind Blake whose money this is. And I said, that's not the best idea.
Well,
Jamie, he says, yeah, he said that to me regarding how difficult she is to work with. He doesn't quite get the nuance.
Well, we'll see. Let's continue.
So they're obviously managing him and what he knows and what everybody else is saying.
Right. So he's not this person that they're sitting down. And the reason that's very interesting to me is because how melancholy he is in this to me. He's very down. He sounds like a beaten down man. And and it's just interesting when you hear him in the way in which he's defending these people and speaking about them in general. It's very revealing to me. Here, let's listen to the next clip. This next clip.
Shannon O said, I think sit means set. So come to the set and remind Blake whose money this is.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. That comes up in this call as well. So here we go again. This is, once again, this takes place. Oh, sorry. I've labeled this. Does Steve Sarowitz worship Rainn and Justin? Does Steve Sarowitz worship these two men who are of the same faith as him, and with whom they share this?
Rainn Wilson is what.
Rainn Wilson and Justin Baldoni. They share this vision along with Jamie Heath of some kind of Bahá'í faith system or production or like brand of that has. It's weird. It gets weird. Let's listen to this.
But he really, I was so grateful to work with him, and just the way he approached the actors, and he still does, of being like,
so she's talking about Rainn Wilson here, okay?
I'm an equal, like, I'm Rainn, hello, like that for me.
Actually, you know what? Let me back it up a little more, because I think just before this, she says, he says,
just really, he would always, when he had a thought, he'd go, you don't have to take this. I was like, Rainn, I'm going to take your thought. It's going to be great. But he really, I was so grateful to work with him, and just the way he approached the actors, and he still does, of being like, I'm an equal, like, I'm Rainn, hello. Like that for me, for all of them, made them feel really seen and safe.
It must have been so starstruck to be working with Rainn Wilson.
They were, but he like from the first time we talked on the phone, he's like, I don't.
Like, is he dense? Did you hear that? Like, did he hear what she just said? She just described how everyone was like, yeah, everyone's just like, he's just like, I'm a regular guy. And everyone's like, okay, that's cool. And then he's like, they must have been starstruck. It was like, I was like, who is he talking about? Is he talking about them? Is he talking about them, or is he talking about himself? Is he still sitting in awe of the fact that he gets to sit across from people like Rainn Wilson and Justin Baldoni and build some kind of Hollywood empire? Like, listen to it again just for me, if you would, because I just want to know that I'm not completely insane here. Listen to this.
Like, I'm Rainn, hello. Like that for me, for all of them, made them feel really seen and safe.
Interesting too that she used the word seen and the words seen and safe. That he was like, hey, I'm just a normal guy, just like you might expect, because I'm in a human suit after all. All right, here we go.
It must have been starstruck to be working with Rainn Wilson.
They were, but he like.
I'm absolutely dumbfounded by the fact that this guy. Okay.
He must have been starstruck to work with Rainn Wilson.
I mean, can you believe it? Like, they were all just sitting there going, like, yeah, one of them was crying. He's just in the corner. What's the matter, man? It's just been my life's goal to work with Rainn Wilson.
It's a dream come true.
It's a dream come true, and I just need a minute to collect myself. Is he near? I don't want him to see me like this. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I've worked with some cool people. Most people that I worked with are not sitting there in awe of the people they work with. They're working people. They're working in the industry. People aren't walking around the industry going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. They're actually like, pick that fucking cable up, grab that fucking set of, get those Apple boxes in, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're not like sitting around being awestruck. They're fucking making a movie.
Well, this is something that happened. So Rainn Wilson's celebrity experience is very unique, and it's possible that he thinks that he's the biggest shit ever because of the way that people treat him.
Exactly my thought.
There's people who are like super fans of The Office, and so they'll like lose their shit every time they see
sure.
him. There was a guy who was wearing a shirt that had Dwight Schrute on it on an airplane, like 2 seats over from Rainn Wilson, and he just took pictures of him and posted on his social media, like, should I tell him? And everybody was like freaking out. So I think that this guy's like, so I remember Rainn Wilson came into the coffee shop that I worked at, and I was like, I didn't say anything because, I'm not trying to make anybody's day uncomfortable.
Oh my God, it's Rainn Wilson.
I know, but I recognized him from the show, and
Of
I was
course.
like, oh, hey, like, you don't look anything like you're a character. Obviously, you did really great character work. Like, you don't sound or look anything like that. Like, that's really impressive character work. But I didn't say anything to him. But it must be that when he goes out into the world that people like
worship him.
Well, I think that it's one of those things where like, you play a really lovable comedic character, and then you go out, you're super recognizable because you have a really unique face and you play that character super well. People are going to be really dazzled, and like, it's going to make their day that they saw this really lovable character.
It's just such a strange thing in this.
So that's what he gets from people all the time.
Yeah, I understand. It's just such a strange thing in this audio that, she's like, yeah, no, we totally normalized having him on the set, which why wouldn't you? I mean, is
What? It's so weird. Does
and
he
then
get like the
and then
nice
he comes
trailer?
out with they must have been starstruck. But what she says, how she continues is also quite Interesting.
Really,
So we'll just continue here a second.
Be working great most.
They were, but he like from the first time we talked on the phone, he's like, I don't want them to feel intimidated by me. Like that was, and I relayed that to the team. I was like,
what the
Rain wants
fuck?
you to know. And he walked the walk when he got there. He like shook everyone's hand, including the extras who had no lines and like no names.
Like we're not talking about
movie.
Tom
He's
Cruise.
like, I'm Rain. It's so nice to meet you. Let's have fun. And like,
What the fuck? Like Elvis is in the building? What is going on here?
I love this part of this audio.
I fucking shook everybody's hand. Okay, great. What a fucking amazing, out of the way kind of guy.
It's such a great.
I'm not banging on him, dude. Like Rainn Wilson's, I'm sure he's a great guy, but it's just like the whole fucking thing is weird to me. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Where you guys are in the movie business? I've never seen so much like so much celebrity worship just among themselves.
Well, I think that this says a lot about. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm just assuming, but it might say a lot about why Justin Baldoni carries himself this way. Because among these people, he's like a celebrity because he was on a TV show. So he must just be like, yes, it is me, Justin Baldoni. Aren't you happy to meet me?
Wow, it's just nuts. Okay, here we go. More.
Like when I tell you, because that was like the vibe we were really cultivating on this set of making sure people felt safe. And
Now, I mean, just did you hear that? Like, this is so interesting. Like, this is so interesting that this is. Did you hear what she said there? I mean, that is so revealing. Check it out. Like, why? So sorry. Why is this even in the conversation? I'm just shocked to hear this. Let's hear it again.
That was like the vibe we were when I tell you, because that was like the vibe we were really cultivating on this set of making sure people felt safe.
I mean, she's heard already about what was going down on this It Ends With Us. And here she is talking about making sure that everything was locked down and safe. I just found that very interesting.
It also, I think that she is speaking a language very much that's like filled with these like, what do they call them? The special words that she uses in these like woo-woo spaces.
Yeah.
She's talking about everybody feeling like having a safe space and feeling seen. And
if you're correct,
it's very like therapy talk that people sometimes use when they're. I think Justin Baldoni and they talk like this on a Man Enough podcast a lot.
Yeah, well, if you're correct about this, and she is in fact, or had already, I should say, banned him from the set. If she had already said she doesn't want him anywhere near it, it just gets more and more interesting because he just immediately tries to characterize Justin
on this set of making sure people felt
as this very same kind of person. Check it out.
Because that was like the vibe we were really cultivating on this set of making sure people felt safe. And wow, what a gift. What a gift.
The irony is Justin is just like that. And like you think to me and
the irony is Justin is just like that. He makes everyone feel like everyone is safe on the set. I mean, that can't be true. Mm-mm. Oh, my goodness. Okay, keeping going.
It Ends With Us set. So you hear two different sets. It's like, wait a second, which set was it? Was it the set that Brandon Sklenar talked about, where it was amazing?
Yeah.
Or was it the set that Brandon Sklenar talked about?
Honestly, it's so tricky, especially, I don't know. Because I wasn't there, so I don't know what it was like.
I was.
You were there. Was it bad?
No.
Oh, God.
Justin never has a bad set.
Justin never has a bad set. What is it? How does he know? He was visiting. We know the days he was visiting. So how does he know he never has a bad set?
Well, here's what he follows that up with.
Yes, it was the worst set he's ever been on, but...
Yes, it was the worst set he's ever been on.
Justin never has a bad set. Yes, it was the worst set he's ever been on.
It's his set.
It's his set.
I love how
Justin doesn't have a bad set.
He's using this language.
Yes, it was the worst set he's ever been on.
I love that he's using this language. The lawyers are doing this too, where they're selectively using language that removes culpability. What do you mean it was the worst set he's ever been on? It's his set. What do you mean? What do you mean?
How is that even possible?
That's his set.
How does he say out of one hand, Justin doesn't have a bad set, never has a bad set? Mm-hmm. And then on the other, right, the very fucking next line out of his mouth is, yes, it's the worst set he's ever been on.
I just think that don't you recognize this, that he's removing any culpability from that language? Like he's phrasing it in a way in which it doesn't blame Justin for
I
having
suppose that's what he's
the
trying to
worst
set up.
set.
Yes. Let's see where he goes. But this clip I found extraordinarily interesting. Here we go.
No, it wasn't bad. I was there on set. It was, Justin is really kind and loving, and he's like Rain. So you imagine Rain's running a set. It's just, it's the Bahá'í set. It's never.
Oh my God. I mean,
It's a Bahá'í set?
Yeah, he
Is that
called
what
it the
he says?
Bahá'í set. And listen, here's the problem that he runs into immediately by doing this, okay? By calling it the Bahá'í set. As soon as you call it the Bahá'í set, you are now imposing a religious belief on your work environment. Right? Like I said when I made the Christian movie, I said, hey, this is not a Christian set. It was the first thing I said. Like I want to make sure that everybody on this set is comfortable. Mm-hmm. Okay? So this is not a Christian set.
Yeah, because they didn't crew up exclusively from Baha'i people.
No. This is a crew making a Christian movie. This is not a Christian crew. We had the conversation. Let me just say, we had the fucking conversation on this movie before we started it. And I was like, nah, it's not happening. We're not doing that. I'm not going to bring a crew in that has to conform to your ideas or your ideals. No fucking way. Mm-hmm. That's never happening. I want people to be able to come on the set, earn their living, and go home to their families. That's what I want. That's what we're going to do. Because that's how it fucking works around here. And for those who are
and the reason why you
of
did that,
faith, they can go off and pray and do their thing.
The reason why you did that is why? Because you want everybody to feel comfortable and not challenged to do anything they're...
Yeah, because we're making a Christian movie. We're not a Christian organization. I didn't want anyone to feel excluded, right? I didn't want also our line producer to be sitting there. Our line producer, those are the producers in movies who do a lot of your crewing up. And they not only got to crew up, they got to take care of the revolving door because you also have, you have crew members getting sick. You have crew members who have other gigs that come up or whatever it might be, especially if you're working independently. And so you have this person, a line producer, this crucial human being who then like makes sure that they fill in those places. Well, if we've got some super Christian set going on and they got the best gaffer in town, but he's an atheist, I want him on my fucking set, dude. I want his light.
Are you in your dot?
What are you talking about?
Are you leaning out of your dot?
I'm good.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. It's my voice that matters. My beautiful, beautiful voice.
That's a really good point. If the best line producer in town is an atheist, we want him on our project.
Yeah, if the best fucking gaffer available is an atheist, I don't want to leave him out.
But this is what happens.
And I also don't want him to show up and think, what the fuck did I just get myself into?
So we're hearing the perspective of Steve Sarowitz, who is a billionaire.
Correct.
Which really, really narrows the scope of the kind of people you can hang out with.
And it adds an intimidation factor, by the way, to the whole thing.
No, of course. So not only is he a billionaire, and so he's only got a very small group of friends and associates he can even possibly get in touch with. Because, like you can't, when you're a billionaire, like you can't just like hang out with the poors. It doesn't work that way.
No, it sure doesn't.
And he's also further making his group exclusive by only wanting to hang out with Baha'i people. And I guess the reason why he does that is because he thinks that they're the only good people or something. Like if you're Baha'i, you're trustworthy. Like that's a stamp on you. It doesn't matter.
And the worst part about it is like he called it like he's trying to like he's saying it as if, of course it's a wonderful, safe environment made of kind, loving people because it's a Baha'i set. And to me, that's already like he's already showing signs that he's detached from the reality of the makeup of his set.
Yes, especially if he doesn't recognize that there was harassment that went on and now he's in a litigation because of it. Like how foolish.
It continues too, and I'm sure some of you have already heard this, but he continues with this Baha'i thing. And so it's starting to look a lot like this billionaire who's trying to use this rich form of media to try to propagandize potentially his faith, which is like, he's not the first to do this, obviously. But I just found it like quite interesting. All right, let's listen on. But yes, he called it a Baha'i set, and that immediately offended me. Because I don't want anything to do with that, right? Now I say offended me, didn't offend me, but...
No, but he also has like Blake Lively coming in to, she's not in that faith, and a bunch of other people aren't coming. So what are you calling it that for?
It's not a Baha'i faith. That's a Baha'i set, I should say. But there is no such thing as a Baha'i set. It's a movie set. Baha'i is a faith. And it's your faith. And you can, of course, you're entitled to it, and you can express it in any way you see fit. But, the one thing you should show is discretion in the workplace so that you could create an inclusive environment.
It's wild.
It's like real easy.
Religious people are so...
And it's not about being like some kind of like, it's not about there's a fucking controversy around DEI and shit like this. This is about common respect in a place where we are living amongst, others.
It also just it makes it seem like to me like, okay, so people who have this just blanket trust of people within their own religion. Like if it's a Baha'i set, then that means nothing bad can happen and nobody's going to do anything wrong. Like it just makes me feel like, okay, so he's really easy to trick.
Yeah.
So he's somebody who you could just be like, oh, no, I'm on your team. I'm in your tribe and I can do anything I want to you and you'll trust me because I'm of the same tribe as you. Like it just seems like he's opening himself up to be really tricked.
Yeah, it becomes a boys club. And by the way, it's run by men. It is a boys club. Mm-hmm. It is a boys club.
That's right.
Under the guise of being, this Baha'i faith, it's a boys club. And he's calling that boys club his set environment. And that doesn't sound like a voluntary situation. That doesn't sound like I could just show up and not be, because it's a very interesting thing because they put this defense out with regards like the hugging and the touchy-feely kindness. I think they like to refer to it as, well, others might find it harassing.
Did you also, did you mark the part where he talks about how he wants to keep making media for women? Because you say it's a boys club, but
I don't know. I don't know.
He does later at a different part in this conversation. He talks about how it's very profitable to keep making media for women.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's not jump ahead. If I don't, we can try to find it. If I didn't, I'm not sure if I did, so I can't really answer that.
I just think it's interesting. You call it a boys club. It's run by a bunch of dudes, but they're specifically targeting women audiences. Like they're making content for women.
By the way, like I just want to point out, like another thing that he doesn't understand with this touchy-feely shit is and this also shows that until then they hadn't really worked with any like high level, but for Rain, of course, any super high level talent. Because these people who are like massive stars, they are exhausted by gawkers. They are exhausted by people who want to get a touch of feel. Mm-hmm. They're exhausted by all that. They want their solitary. They want their solitude. They want their privacy. They want these kinds of things because they don't have them. They don't have them in life. Like if you want to create a great environment, a safe environment for a movie star on the set, is an environment where they're not treated like movie stars, where they're not like, and this is like a good example of an egregious use of that would be on this set would be putting your best friend between the actor's legs. I don't care if there was shorts on or not.
Yeah, right.
Putting your best friend there.
There's never been
a good example of not creating an environment that is made up of like, I'm not going to treat you like a star. I'm going to treat you like a coworker.
But Dale, there's never been a problem on a Justin Baldoni set. Because they're Baha'i sets. He's
perfect, I know. Here we go. Let's listen to more of this absolutely wild shit. A Baha'i set.
Baha'i set. It's never going to be like that. No, it was just everything was made up. It was manufactured, and it was manufactured on purpose in order to take Justin down.
Now, that sounds utterly delusional to me because there's no why. Like to take Justin down? Why would you want to take Justin down? Well, I know why. I know why you'd want to take Justin down. It might be the truth, by the way. Blake Lively, I've said this time and again, Blake Lively might have been like, oh, wait a second, dude. This guy's the man enough guy. This is the guy who's supposed to be the pearly gates for fucking women trying to break out of the grips of men and the suppression and oppression of men in a male-driven industry, particularly around things like producing, by the way. But it doesn't matter where you go in Hollywood, you'll find it's male-dominated. You'll find that the men make more money. The men dominate the higher fucking job categories than they have across the board in America, period, right? But it's especially egregious in Hollywood. And so, and it certainly has been especially egregious in Hollywood. So anyway, it's just...
No, but when she got onto set and he starts fucking like...
He
starts like open mouth kissing her.
Right. And just making all these, and these gestures and these things we hear from Jamie Heath. I guess we shouldn't hug. We've already had our first HR complaint. So now she's sitting in an environment where
sharks.
Like, listen to this woman, right? Claire, who people are going to fucking bag on because she's really hard to listen to. And it sucks because I just think that what she suffers from is probably some major ADHD, I should say. Like probably major ADHD. I don't know if she was majorly fucking like caffeinated and also like wildly excited because she knows she's taping this. She knows that she's somewhat now in some way wedging herself in the middle of this thing in some way. And and I think she's probably recording it because, again, if you're right, and she did already ask Justin Baldoni not to be on the set, that this call she might be viewing as an opportunity for him to try and clear that up and, try to coerce her in some way to, testify in a different manner or, if she were asked to or whatever. So who knows why she recorded it. But again, if it's in fact because after the fact, of, having her banning, I should say, Justin from the set, then it makes sense that she would record it. It does. I totally understand why she would do it. But, they're going to bag on her. I listened to her 3 fucking times. Trust me, man, it's not even a phone call I'd ever want to have with another human being just because it was just difficult to listen to. But I don't think it's her personality on display necessarily. I think there's a lot going on there. I think there's a lot of excitement. I think there's a lot of tension. I think there's some fear, and that just comes out in all these different ways because she doesn't sound very sincere most of the time.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. I'm just pointing out because I did see somebody say something like, that she irks or whatever. And I get it. But remember what we're talking about. We're not talking about her. This is the easy distraction, right? What we're talking about is his behavior in this situation because I think it's, it tells a lot about what's going on. And I think it's really good news for Blake in her case.
I just think that I think it's interesting because Steve Sarowitz says so many troubling things, right? Where he's basically he's really boasting about how great Justin is to somebody who has had a bad experience with him. Yeah. So that's really minimizing and really that's a little gaslighty, Yes. And I also think that when he went full bloodthirsty with his language about what he was going to do to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds if they challenged him, I also think that was a direct threat to her too. But I don't think she actually received those threats. Because the entire time she's just waiting for her chance to talk. There's several times where he'll say something, he'll provide some input, and then she'll just continue on the same track of thinking before he said anything. I don't know that she's really listening. So it must have felt really weird for Steve Sarowitz to be providing this very important information.
That's the thing about it, by the way, that you just bring that up, because the one thing about it that this tape did do for Steve Sarowitz for me was it did humanize him, because he was melancholy, in my opinion.
He's very calm. He's I did not expect him to say such harsh words very calmly. It's actually really eerie. Yeah.
He got humanized by, and that was something. That was a bit of an achievement for me because I don't know if I was, if I had his human suit in mind.
Because you think he's being lied to.
Well, I don't think that he has the entire truth. I think he's delusional within his faith, and we'll continue. Let's continue. Here we go. We'll talk more about this after it's all done, but I got a few more points here to get through, so let's go ahead and do it.
Well, I said it's never going to be like that. No, it was just everything was made up. It was manufactured, and it was manufactured on purpose in order to take Justin down.
I'm sorry. I'm just sorry because I know the intentions of making the movie were with such a purpose. I'm sorry to have this going on. I'm hoping
it didn't take Justin down.
No, I'm hoping it's winding down. Fingers crossed.
I think it's going well. Hollywood's still got a hold of it.
Yeah, that's because it's quiet again. August, man, August. I'll send you this video from this TikToker. I love her. She is just she is a pro. I think she's in her 50s. And she breaks it down to educate people to also make them better consumers of being hey, is what you're reading true? Or, what is a...
Yeah, okay. So the next spot is... This is interesting. So this is before the lawsuit. And in this statement, he mentions that the PR are engaged. And you can hear, later, he starts saying things that are they sound like the PR, coming from the PR to her. They sound like it's the messaging coming from the PR.
Yeah, because this is August where they're already engaged with them for, they had Jonesworks working on the Wayfair account for a long time. Yeah. But they've just gotten, I don't know what the date is, but I know that it was the very beginning of August. Okay. When they began using Melissa Nathan.
Yeah. So and listen to him because he's listen to this because this is in this part he's dividing up the social media in terms of who's where in their rankings of social media. So check it out.
Yeah.
Reddit is a little bit more even, but Reddit just seems mean-spirited.
Reddit can be very weird. I've been on some pages that are for plus-size fashion and stuff. It's very supportive, but I think it's also different corners of it where people go just to be terrible. Yeah. Reddit freaks me out.
Oh, they're both assholes. Yeah. Whatever.
No, Reddit freaks me out.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
That's the thing.
You haven't read anything. You haven't watched anything. You're just trying to be mean.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're also there's a big
She didn't let him
push right now
talk
about parasocial relationships. Like, I don't know if you know the singer Chapel Roan. She just blew up this.
So I won't go to them because she just doesn't stop talking. You know, she just doesn't stop talking.
She doesn't do any listening either.
She almost interrupts him every time he speaks. He barely gets, sometimes he doesn't even get like 2 words out and she's trampling on him.
Well, that long quote that Blake Lively used in her litigation is uninterrupted.
Here it is.
Miraculously.
Here it is.
So, are you able to take a vacation soon, Steve? Do you get to rest your brain?
No, but mine isn't so bad. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Jamie was one working till 11 o'clock at night. I just checked in occasionally. This is why I think they were selectively keeping things from him. I think they were still doing that, even though the PR is obviously involved at this point. I just know, man, you know, as you guys know, I went through a fucking giant lawsuit with Leonardo DiCaprio and shit popped up where you're just like, what? Huh? I mean, all the way, even till after the lawsuit shit was coming up where I was like, he signed a what contract? Like just crazy shit happening. So, I just can't help but wonder if Steve Sarowitz has been sitting around since this conversation and going, yeah, hey, Justin, it's me. So did that really fucking happen? Did you really say you want to fucking paint him as a fucking scab when he wasn't one? Were you gonna
No, that idea came from Steve Sarowitz, babe.
Oh, well, there you
Remember?
go.
He said my partner Steve and I were talking and we came up with a way to twist the story.
Oh, so he's involved in the lies?
Yes,
Here
he's
we go.
helping.
Here we go. Jesus Christ. Here we go.
Yeah.
There was a week that was long for me when we thought we were going to have to go into court.
Oh,
And
God.
I still don't know that we won't have to go into court.
Sure.
I just know that for right now, it seems like détente. And then if they persist and they push to the limits, then we'll go to court. And then it's all on me. Then I'll be working harder than Jamie did because
It's going to be protecting this.
So she got in the way of that. She cut him off, but he was going to say something like, I'm going to go to war, or you hear him, he's ready to gear up for it. And then of course it ends up, it's interesting because she might have like accidentally got the daimon to like switch the rails and put him on this Hamas conversation.
No, he comes up with that though.
No, I'm saying, but she kind of shifts the whales here. Check it out. Or the rails. You know what I'm saying.
It's going to be protecting the
See
studio,
right there.
I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas.
You will always
There were
regret
39,000 dead
saying
bodies.
that.
There will be 2 dead bodies when I'm done. Minimum.
I'm sorry.
Protected itself from Hamas. No, there were 39,000 dead bodies. There will be 2 dead bodies when I'm done. Minimum.
She sounds like a fucking pager buzzing on the counter.
Dale, this is the most important quote that he is
course.
offering.
Yeah, it's so disturbing.
Okay, play it.
Sorry.
Working harder than Jamie did because
It's going to be protecting the studio, right?
I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas. No, there were 39,000 dead bodies. There will be 2 dead bodies when I'm done. Minimum. And so not dead, but dead to me. You're dead to me.
You're dead to me.
So that kind of dead, but dead to a lot of people.
So no, to me, that is the key thing. So he says the dead comment. It's obviously just so ridiculous. He says dead to me is covering up his obvious fucking
Death threat?
Loose-lipped stupid shit.
That's a literal death threat.
But here's what he said though. That is so interesting.
Is he
in this
stupid?
thing.
Can you
He
be a
said
billionaire and be
it's gonna
stupid?
Be dead to a lot of people.
But dead to a lot of people.
Dead to a lot. Now that's the fucking key. And this is the problem.
That he wants to bury her in this town.
This is what Leo did to me. This is what there's this viciousness that comes, that crosses so many fucking
it's
boundaries.
true. It's like I'm not just gonna break up with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that everyone breaks up with
You're
you.
gonna be dead to a lot of people. I'm gonna fucking harm you. I'm gonna scorch the earth you stand on.
Why is he allowed to
you're
do that?
upset at me and I'm upset at you.
It's
They
just-
couldn't keep their dispute contained in his own mind. In this situation, he couldn't keep the dispute contained. And people get like Leo, my argument with Leo over Donald Trump, that should have just stayed with us. It should not have leaked out. I shouldn't have lost every fucking friend I had or every opportunity I had. I shouldn't have lost every goddamn thing in my life because me and Leo had a fucking fight.
That's right.
Here's Steve Sarowitz talking about his premeditated intention, right? To figuratively unalive these people to a lot of people.
He's saying, he doesn't say figuratively. He doesn't say like not literally. He straight up says it. I can't believe it.
Yeah, but he does mean their career. He does mean their reputation. It's very clear. Here we are. Like, he's not, this guy's not like a serial killer in disguise here. This is a guy who's, using it in a figurative sense.
No, I understand. But what this definitely does is support Blake Lively's case that she is being retaliated against.
Completely. I don't think there's any other way to look at that, because he says, well, let's continue.
If they ever get me to that point, then I'll make it worth their while, because I'm going to spend a lot of money to make sure the studio is protected. But I don't think we'll go there.
Yeah, I hope not. As someone who
that's not the world I want to live in.
No. I hope it goes away. I just hope it goes away, or that people lose interest or realize it's harming everyone's career.
Yeah, I think that we'll just probably for years.
Yeah.
This is not going to go away. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah.
We'll have to be defensive for years, because there'll be stuff coming at us. I will be defensive for years. So if they ever cross the line, then I will go after them.
I mean, it's so interesting because, like, again, if she in fact did say, hey, I want this guy off my set.
Yeah, I think he's telling her that deliberately.
Yeah, like,
I want you to know.
If at any point in time you fucking cross me, I'm
going
coming
to
for you.
defend my company, is what he said to her. And if anybody crosses the line, yes.
Like, he's talking about, like, hey, if you're thinking about it now or in the future, I want you to know that as a billionaire, with all the resources that I use to make your movie, I can use to destroy your movie.
I think this is it's very easy to recognize that this is what he is saying to her. The reason why he's saying all this to her is because he wants her to hear it. But I think it's gone right over her head.
These guys are supposed to be the smartest guys in the room, right? Mr. fucking billionaire, Mr. I know how to make things work, Mr. No, like, this is to me a veiled threat.
Yeah, I don't think that Claire got it in the moment. She probably listened to this after and was like, holy shit, he's threatening me right here.
Or somebody did for her, right?
But I think
by the way, I don't know if you realize this, but he's literally threatening you. And she'd be like, me? What? Oh my God.
She does seem in this whole call that she is just waiting for the next opportunity to talk, or she's thinking about what she's going to say next. I don't think she's paying attention.
Listen, I don't know Steve Sarowitz. I know that his comparison to Hamas and to the dead Palestinians, victims of this Palestinian tragedy, that to me really is just something that I think everyone who ever knows him and that came out of his mouth, it'll always be top of mind.
Why do you think that he wanted this audio released?
It's a great question. We can get into that now, I suppose, or maybe when we finish. But the real, like,
we can postpone it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can postpone it. My short answer is because I believe it humanized him, but I also believe that it got some messages across that he thought would be helpful, but I don't think will be. And we'll talk about that later as we finish this. But let's get back to it. Here we go.
Jamie at one point called me up and said, I think we're going to need you.
Yeah.
And we have lawyers ready to go. We have our press people, our PR people working. We haven't had to engage the lawyers.
They're working. This is the key. This is what I was telling you, man. They're already working. So the PR people are at it. And you heard him, like, he was just talking about Reddit. If I backed it up a little bit, there's another section in which he talks about other social media. Like, he says something about how they're doing good on Instagram. It's Justin on Instagram.
Pro Baldoni, yeah.
Pro Baldoni on another platform. And then he was TikTok. It was actually. Here we go.
Much yet.
That's good. That's a good sign. That's a good sign, because that gets ugly.
Nothing's really hit our studio. It's never, like, basically people love Justin and they still love Justin.
Yeah, that's good.
And if you meet Justin, how could you not love Justin?
I know. But yeah.
So my question is he infatuated with this man?
Well, also, he's saying that to her. He's basically saying, I don't want to hear about you having a problem with Justin, because everybody loves Justin. And if you meet Justin, how could you not love Justin? So he's basically saying to her in, like, veiled language, if you bring me allegations about Justin, there's no reason why I have to believe you, because he's a fucking saint in my eyes.
Here's a plausible scenario for me. This guy's being completely he's being grifted by Heath and Baldoni.
Yeah, that's true.
And here's why I think so. Here's why I think that it's a possibility, because, when he said Bahá'í, it's a Bahá'í set.
Yeah.
When he said that, man, that felt like that's something like a pact almost. It felt like something you're like he's repeating from like a conversation where. Okay, here's a quick and funny story. Some of you may have heard this already, but I'm just a quick and funny story. All right, before we get to the next part, because this is sort of how I feel like the grift is going on. Hollywood is filled with grifters, and I mean they're fucking everywhere. All right, it's okay. Hollywood is filled with grifters, and I mean they're fucking everywhere. They are bloody everywhere, and they will try everything to get in the room. Their big grift is always money, big bags of money. They have big bags of money, big bags of money. We had one. He came. He was going to buy us Lamborghinis. He was going to give us it wasn't 100 million. He was going to give us $20 million for this movie that we were going to make. He was going to give us $12 million to buy this little mini studio across from Paramount. That was like a record studio that Adam Levine and all these people were working at. When we got there, we were like, there was this, you should have seen the studio. It was beautiful. And we were just fucking $12 million. This guy was going to buy everything. Turned out he was a total fucking scammer, this guy. He was lying to us the whole time and grifting us literally for like meals. Basically for meals. We were taking him out. We go and like, hey, let's go look at the studio. Yeah, we're going to get it, $12 million. I'll send it off to the accountant. You guys hungry? Let's go get some food. And we'd always pick up the fucking tab. And we did that for 2 straight weeks.
This is a super common grift where the whole grift revolves around the person claiming to be and posing as if they're super wealthy.
They tell you everything that you want to know.
Yeah.
They never bring any fucking bad news to the table. If there's any kind of bad news, they reverse it into something fucking positive. Right? You have Jamie Heath, you have Justin Baldoni in the Baha'i faith. They have a Baha'i billionaire. They're already talked about high in the levels of, because they're celebrity Baha'i, right? Between Rainn Wilson and between Justin Baldoni. I've always said, like, I've always told people, like, you want to see how quick Hollywood likes me? Just give me a fucking billionaire. Just give me a billionaire. I'll show you how fucking quickly Hollywood's like, Dale Wheatley's a good guy. Dale Wheatley's a fine young man.
That's true. I never believed a word they said about him.
I'm not going to get in between two people fighting, but I'm not going to let that get in the way of a perfectly good opportunity. Come on in, Dale Wheatley. I've never said a bad word about you. So I think that, one of the pitches that would come out of my mouth if I was grifting this motherfucker in Hollywood would be like, it's not a fucking movie set. It's a Baha'i set.
Yeah, because you identify what the guy, what he likes, what he wants, and then you make sure that you're always giving it to him. So if he wants his faith to be at the forefront of everything that he does with his business, you're going to be like, that's exactly what we're going to do.
It doesn't stop there, though. It really starts at the personality that he responds to. Listen to the way he speaks about Justin Baldoni, right? It just sounds like he's being fucking grifted. Like he's talking about Justin Baldoni like he's the fucking like Christ reborn, like resurrected, I guess, not reborn. I don't know how that works.
He's never done anything wrong.
But listen to the way he speaks about this man.
He's already been sued a bunch of times.
My point is that he's getting this version of Justin Baldoni. That is this perfect version of a human being. And I think that Justin has this ability to do this. I think he's extremely, wildly charismatic. I think he knows how to put so much of a front on. He talked about in his book, the suit of armor that he's talking about. I think it's more than that. I think it's like this facade. I think his armor is a facade. I think the suit of armor that he's talking about is that inauthentic version of him that everyone loves so much. And why that's so interesting conceptually is because this is what actors do. When you talk about, you just talked about having fucking Rainn Wilson walking in and you're like, oh my God, you're not that guy.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
So they create these like versions of themselves. I've seen them do it. Industry smile. I've heard people tell me I have to have it, And I was like, what the fuck is that? It's not just the smile. It's how you set yourself up as your front face to the industry. So these guys, so this guy's just listening to this guy, Justin Baldoni, be a fucking, and Justin Baldoni is a very persuasive person. I used to say, this is the thing about Tobey Maguire that's very interesting about him. And I feel like Justin has potentially the same dynamic. Toby's the most loving guy, bro. Like I'm telling you, this guy made me feel so safe around him. He made me feel so loved and secured in that conversation. The very same conversation that he used to utterly, completely destroy my career and my reputation in Hollywood. In that conversation, he told me he was going to have my back. He was going to pay for my acting lessons with one of the best acting coaches in all of Hollywood, that he was going to, just totally help me in every possible way. Help me financially, help me, emotionally, help me as a friend. He created all of this space for me to feel incredibly safe so that he could tear me down. Justin Baldoni, in my opinion, and Jamie Heath, I think there's just a reasonable amount of circumstantial evidence to suggest that this guy himself has been bamboozled. And you have this evidence you presented earlier where they're talking about what to say and what not to say to Steve Sarowitz. And he's very highly principled. He's got high principles, whether or not we agree with them or not. You can hear them present in everything that he says. Again, you're only getting these clips, and the rest of them are basically her talking. Anyway, let's continue.
Nothing's really hit our studio. It's never, basically people love Justin and they still love Justin.
Yeah, that's good.
And if you meet Justin, how could you not love Justin?
I know. But yeah, I'm just glad.
I mean, he sounds in love with the guy.
Sending all the good energy. I hope it stays safe.
I hope it stays safe. Safe, safe, safe. She says it over and 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 again. After she knows that shit went bad on a different set.
You see how she doesn't know how to respond to him saying anybody that knows Justin loves Justin after she already had beef with him? I think that she doesn't know. She's definitely not going to contradict Steve Sarowitz on this phone call. She recognizes that that's not a path she's going to go down. But she doesn't know what to say because she's had personal bad experience with him. So she's like, I don't know. I hope everything works out.
I find this tape so fascinating.
I know, me too.
Okay, so this is some more stuff that I find it's just so wild. All right.
For us, especially creating that kind of a fun experience with the catwalk and just Steve, thank you. We're so freaking excited to do the screening there. And to have us be together for that is so.
She's doing the screening at the Bahá'í Theater that they created an exhibitor. They're exhibitors. Did you know that?
It exists already?
Yeah. Listen to this.
Oh, exciting.
And you're going to love
I can't
theater
wait.
itself.
I can't wait. I love a theater. Theaters make me feel, this is why my friend and I are friends. Theaters make us feel very safe and we're about to explore a different universe.
She says safe a lot.
Our theater is not a typical theater.
I love it.
You heard much about it?
Wait, no, I know that the point of it is wait, do you mean the actual?
She fucking loves something she hasn't even seen or know anything about.
She's
just
a
saying
bullshitter, bro.
She's a bullshitter. I mean, she's bullshitting right now.
It stresses me out to listen to somebody who's such a bullshitter.
It's crazy.
I'm you're gonna get caught bullshitting.
She just did.
She
just fucking got caught.
The point of it is wait, do you mean the actual space? Oh wait, walk me through. No, I know about what you're offering, but I don't know about the space.
I love it.
You walk in and there's a hologram of Justin and Jamie and Tara and me saying welcome to Wayfair and the
Oh my god.
Okay, when he said this is what I imagined was leave it to a billionaire to put together the imagery of Total Recall and fucking Blade Runner, the remake, which is so dystopian and eerie, right? Where they have holograms of people being
Princess Leia.
welcome to Wayfair Theater. Welcome to Wayfair Theater on repeat or whatever.
And it's not just a movie experience, it is a Bahá'í movie experience.
You're doing animatronics though, but this is like a hologram, so it would be super eerie. But leave it to a billionaire to see those movies and be yeah, that looks really great. I love that aesthetic, instead of recognizing that
I can't believe this. Well,
the end times.
Let me finish this. This is just a minute or less. There's a hologram of Justin Baldoni greeting people at theaters.
He's so into themselves.
I think this guy worships them.
See that, dude?
Check it out. Here we go.
He fucking loves themselves.
It's insane.
You walk in and there's a hologram of Justin and Jamie and Tara and me.
Oh my god!
Welcome to Wayfair and
oh my god, I'm obsessed.
And then there's you walk upstairs. Actually, when you walk in, your right, it says Flowers of One Garden Community, so community board.
Love
and
it.
you walk stairs and it says oneness. Then there's a 9-pointed Bahá'í star on the ceiling.
A 9-pointed.
That's where they do the ritual sacrifices, right?
That's where they sacrifice the babies.
Okay, gotcha.
There's a 9-pointed Bahá'í. So this guy has, listen, I'm telling you, this is why I think it's a big fucking, it's just been a big grift the whole time. They're like getting this guy's money. By the way, I didn't play it for you, but he says earlier when there's a point in which she asks him for a friend if he can talk about being an exhibitor, or I don't know what the fuck it is, or being an independent studio. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, have they got a lot of money? Because I've lost a lot of money. That loss is funneled directly to Wayfair. That loss is Wayfair's loss, bro. The loss he's talking about is the money that he's shelling out to Jamie and to Justin, who are angels.
But he doesn't care because he's got it's a monopoly money to him. It's just like game money. Like, he's a fucking billionaire. He's never going to spend it.
I'm not saying he cares what he cares about. He cares about the studio.
But it's amazing that he has these people who keep losing him money, and then
No, but I'm saying he's got the grift is on, is what my point. I think that, like, here he is now. He's got that. They sold this whole thing. Where I'm sure it just, like when you grift and you're like, dude, it doesn't have to stop there. We could do anything. Tell him the idea. Well, what if we became exhibitors too? Not knowing that there was that the studios thought about that back in the fucking beginning of Hollywood, and they got broken up by the government as a monopoly.
Tell him about the hologram idea. He's gonna love it. Listen to this, Steve.
Hey, tell him about that. Hey, wait. Yeah, well, I was working on this movie once, and this guy's got a hologram machine. Like, it's the fucking craziest thing. People are going to be standing there looking right into Justin Baldoni's dreamy eyes. It's just the fucking most unhinged shit. All right, here we go.
You don't have to play the rest of this clip because
I'm going to play.
Describes the cafe.
Okay.
It starts normal after this.
There's a big screen in the back showing the movies we make, and there's a cafe, and then as you walk down the hallway, there's kind of cool carpeting and ceiling. And there's also a Lily Bloom's flower shop right now.
I love that. I know. I saw that from the screen from social. I did. I thought it looked very cool.
A sign that says, "Where there is love, nothing is too much trouble, and there's always time."
Love it.
At the end of the hall. So, basically, what I'm saying is that it's a Baha'i inspired, open Baha'i inspired movie theater, but
which is like, beautiful.
Everyone knows, like, we will not play violent movies. We will not play horror movies.
There you go.
He won't play violent movies. He can't play. It ends with us.
There's too much violence in It Ends With Us to exhibit at his
It Ends With Us can't play at his own theater.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. But the other thing is there's another part in this that I didn't play for you where he talks to her about how, she was like, I'm so impressed with what you've got to focus on, whatever else. And he was like, well, look, he's like, we tried to stay focused on the domestic violence, but we tried our best, but we couldn't get it. He's literally standing in a theater that he's saying is Baha'i faith inspired, saying that there cannot be violence or horror films played there, but yet their entire focus, they wanted their movie to be on, was the violence, the domestic violence, not the woman overcoming it. Wild to me. Mm-hmm. Super wild. All right, I got one more. Well, two more. Yeah, this thing is juicy. I mean, for real. All right, here we go.
Huge. So I'm very excited. Very excited. So
I love this women's empowerment. We have another. I think I told you another first-time director we supported.
Yes. A woman named Scarlett Johansson. Yeah.
Did you know this? They worked with Scarlett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so excited for her.
Listen to this, though.
I'm so excited for her.
We're trying to get her first big break. Maybe people will hear of her.
I mean, but Scarlett Jo, who? I can't. I love it. No, but honestly, every time you're a first-time feature director, it's your first time being a feature director. It's tough. I love that.
She's just so the fuck over the place. It's just, you don't have to talk. You don't. You cannot talk for 1 second. Try. Just try. Go like this. As soon as you want to say something, just shut up. I mean, I got to take my own advice, but here we go.
She was so cool, calm, collected, and confident.
No,
and nice.
Which is what you want, and just professional, right? You want someone who's professional, who I don't.
It's so interesting because you work with so many people, and almost everybody's nice. And then there's Blake, who's just
play it.
Just,
totally different than everyone else.
I'm sorry.
It's like, not to say anything bad about her, but
he just said there's all these nice people, and then there's Blake. Not to say anything bad about her, but she's not nice.
she's different.
There you go.
Different.
And I don't.
And she's a big star. This is what they didn't understand, how to deal with that. Because it's a more complicated thing than just dealing with, Justin Baldoni level talent. I'm not dissing on him. I'm just saying he's not a big fucking giant star. He doesn't have people throwing themselves at their fucking feet everywhere they walk.
I think for the most part, most people see what we're doing, see we're nice, and they're nice back. Even if they weren't perfectly nice. And I just think some people forgot to learn how to be nice.
That's it. That's the story.
So
I have a comment here. We are joined by a Baldoni supporter.
Okay, great. Hi, nice to have you.
Username is Good Bitchin' Lady, which is a great username.
Cool.
Said, Steve knows Justin is innocent, hence he will protect his studio. Don't blame him. I would too. You're all off your rockers. Justin is the victim. Evidence has and will show that.
Well, you mean the same evidence that he had his case thrown out, or different evidence? Because, by the way, I just want to point out, just to point out to that conversation, I just want to point out that Brian Friedman, he showed up on the Megyn, what's her fucking... Megyn Kelly show. And on the Megyn Kelly show, Megyn said, well, so what are you going to do? Are you going to file a lawsuit? And he said, yes. He said that, they were going to file a lawsuit. Sorry. He said that they were going to file a lawsuit. Sorry, folks. Just have to change it. Hey, man. It's one, Okay. Do I look all right?
What are you saying?
Back to the topic.
Friedman went on the Megyn Kelly show and said
he was going to file a lawsuit. And then Megyn Kelly was like, okay, tell me more. And he was like, well, this isn't just any lawsuit. He said, this lawsuit, he said, has evidence. This is what he said. These were his words. He said, this lawsuit has evidence. And I'm not talking about just like any evidence. I'm talking real evidence.
Oh my God.
And he just kept pounding.
They'd have to have that in order to be a lawsuit.
It's just so interesting because maybe you saw that, maybe you watched that, and maybe that's why you're coming here and you're thinking that he has evidence. But if you did see that, and that might be the basis, or if that is the basis for why you think he has evidence, I just want to point out that he already took that evidence to the judge, and the judge threw it out, calling it meritless, calling it no damn good.
The reason why is not that the evidence isn't valid, because nobody...
My sound is glitching.
Nobody disputes Justin Baldoni's evidence.
God damn it.
What they're saying, what the judge said, is that it doesn't support his claims.
It doesn't support his claims. Yeah. Well, it sounds good to me.
Yeah. Can we continue?
It's better now.
I think this happened when you were doing your commentary. When you shout into your mic, I think you're just too close.
No,
So
I've got limiters
on,
so it shouldn't. But I guess it could be.
I just want to comment on Good Bitchin' Lady said, Steve knows Justin is innocent.
He believes that.
Perhaps Steve Sarowitz hasn't read Justin Baldoni's own court filings where he admits to sexually harassing Blake Lively. And he admits that Jamie Heath sexually harassed Blake Lively on his set in May of 2023. So if Steve knows Justin is innocent, perhaps he's misinformed, because Justin Baldoni has admitted that the sexual harassment that Blake Lively complained about did actually happen.
Well, I'll just point out
this was on his timeline document, page 33 is where he summarizes it, but it's all throughout.
This isn't a matter of innocence or guilt. So, he doesn't know that anybody is innocent. What he does is what you could say is that he believes Justin Baldoni's version of events. Right. But in Justin Verdi's versions of events, and this is where Justin runs into big trouble, in his own version of events, he admits that the events that Blake Lively complained about occurred. He also admits that, or he also goes on to say that, that he apologized for them, and that he felt as though that should have been at least, for the most part, adequate enough for them to move past whatever the issue was that she complained about. Specifically, we know them all in her filing. So that's where it gets problematic for Steve Sarowitz, is like, to believe his versions of events also means you must believe in Blake's version of events, because Blake's version of events says that she was sexually harassed. So does Justin's.
So does Justin's.
Now, the part where, you might be wondering if, like you use the word innocence, which is a little bit weird because we're not in this place of whether it's a matter of being liable or not liable.
Oh, you're saying that so it's civil litigation.
Yeah, there's no innocence or guilt here. And I think that there's a lot of emotional...
That's in criminal court.
I think there's a lot of emotional baggage around those words that people bring to it, Innocence, justice there's no justice here. This isn't about justice. You might want to make it into justice, but it's not. This is civil litigation.
Yeah, so he violated labor laws.
That's right.
Is what Blake Lively is claiming. That's
Correct.
in civil litigation. So
Absolutely.
he is liable for whatever.
If found liable, he will have to... pay whatever the court or the jury awards and damages and fines and so on and so forth. And that's how this works. There's no crime here. People aren't going to jail. There is no innocence. There's no justice to be had. That's you getting caught up in the emotional mess of this whole thing.
So
I find myself there sometimes too. So I'm not.
It's just super important to recognize when you say that Steve knows that Justin is innocent. Justin Baldoni has admitted that Blake Lively was sexually harassed on his set by himself and Jamie Heath.
Yes.
He has admitted that he didn't follow proper legal protocol in order to address her concerns and her complaints.
I don't think he has. I don't think he understands that he has.
Okay.
I think what you're getting at is that if you believe his version of events, then he didn't.
He admitted that he did not follow any proper legal protocol for addressing. Legal meaning that the law mandates that an employer has to address sexual harassment complaints a certain way, and he didn't do any of those things.
But again, this is where I disagree. Okay, yeah, that's your version of events in that regard, because
but that's his.
In his own mind, he apologized and he thought that should be sufficient.
Right, but what I'm saying is that
it's not.
That is not anybody's legal standard for how an employer treats an employee's sexual harassment complaint.
That doesn't speak to his mind.
No, what I'm saying is it supports her claims that he violated the law when he didn't address her sexual harassment complaints.
Her
properly.
legal claims are being addressed. Yes.
And then there are numerous text messages that nobody on either side disputes. This is all factual. That they did retaliate against Blake Lively through publicists.
Well, look, they're not going to see it that way. So this is the part where it gets a little blurry and confusion, is because they're not going to see it that way.
Who?
Steve Sarowitz, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath. I won't say the same about Nathan and Abel.
But when somebody says Steve knows Justin Baldoni is innocent,
yes,
I'm saying the three claims that she's making.
Yeah.
That she was sexually harassed, that the harassment wasn't dealt with properly like an employer should, and that they retaliated against her. All of those things have been supported by Justin Baldoni's own story about what happened, and the retaliation has been supported by undisputed text message evidence. So it's, to me, she's made her case. I don't know where this information is coming from. It just seems like people are misinformed.
This information is, I'm going to try to help you as best I can. The information is coming from the idea that these guys don't know. So she knows, this person who's made this comment, that these guys believe what they believe. It doesn't matter if the facts are different than what they believe. People believe in shit no matter what, dude. It's something we find. We find this to be true.
Ignorance of the law does not make you...
That's different. They're still going through that process. That process is not up yet. We think one thing and they think another. And
what I mean is ignorance of a law isn't a defense. If you break that law...
No, they're not going to be
liable for.
No, they're not going to be able to defend themselves with I thought this was enough to deal with. I thought
apologizing.
I didn't know I had to pay for that isn't going to work.
When the producer looked straight at her tits after she asked him not to, she felt like that was sexual harassment, and we said, "Oh, sorry, my bad," and then moved on with our day.
I'm sorry, I'm used to looking at people, I think he said.
Yes. I'm used to looking directly at people when I talk to them. When they're naked, how often does this happen?
But here, again, I just want to emphasize this because this matters a great deal. He may not have viewed that, regardless, his ignorance aside, it doesn't matter. His ignorance is his problem. Their ignorance is their problem. But that they're going to get that awakening is coming. But right now, in their ignorance, he, in his own mind, says, that's not harassment, dude. That was a mistake.
Okay.
Well, here's it. Yeah, I mean, you can laugh, but it's what's going on in his head. So he looks, he sees, he says, oops, my bad.
It may have been a mistake until
Apologies.
she complained. And then you recognize that you are an employer who has a business in the state of California.
That's your mindset. That's your mindset. Okay. His mindset's different. You're wrong. You're right. He's wrong. His mindset's in a different place. His mindset's, oh, fuck, man. Get over yourself. I didn't even like your tits.
Lee said,
like that's his mindset. I mean, I'm obviously fucking completely making that up, but my point is,
no, you're not making that up, because that's one of the allegations against Justin Baldoni, that he said, when she was offended that he called her sexy, that he was like, you're not even my type.
Well, that's why I threw it in there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that he's directly, Jamie Heath tied to those kinds of comments. We know that Justin Baldoni is accused of saying those kinds of things.
Okay. Would you like to hear from the chat?
Yeah.
So this is about the video. A bunch of people were commenting where we were listening to the audio transcript. Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Lee said, Steve admitted he was going after Blake, a woman who was suing his company for SH, which is retaliation and illegal.
Well, so let's be clear about this. He was not sued at that time.
No.
He did not know whether or not he was going to be sued. So
he does know that
that's
Jamie
not entirely correct.
He does know that Jamie Heath was like, we may need you.
Yes, he said there was a moment in time. Well, I think we might need you. So
here's the part that I think
is very important. This is a very important distinction, though, because his mindset is in a different place than that. So it's that they followed through on those that became the problem, right? Like let's be clear about this, right? He knew that shit was coming to a head.
Yes.
And he says at that point, and this is a very important distinction, because at this point in his head, he's not in a litigation. Lawyers are not even involved in this situation beyond whatever he's getting transactionally. So he's got no litigation going. He's got PR running, and that's it. Okay. So his mindset isn't going to be on anything to do with the law or anything to do with, any kind of legal foundation. And it's a very important distinction to make, because the problem is that he shows an intention to do that. He declares, like, for example, if I say, you do that one more time, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm never going to mean something like that. I might even be just joking in general. If I ever said something like that, it would be a joke to you.
Yeah, but it's like a literal death threat, though.
But it's a literal death threat, right?
Yeah.
But it's a joke, right? I would never come to fruition, right? Unless it did, at which time then I would be guilty of that.
Yeah, if somebody
so
got
here's
that
the
recorded.
distinction that I'm trying to make here, is that he can make these declarations. The problem that they're in is that they followed through on them. So here we have the threat, not the, we have the threat, and then we have the actual follow through on it. And that's the problem. It's such good evidence for them, because now we know that he intended to.
It's, and this is why she used this quote to support her request for treble damages.
Exactly.
Because it's very clearly retaliatory. Here's what I don't get. Why does Steve Sarowitz, with all of his...
It's not yet, though, but yes, it threatens it.
Why does Steve Sarowitz, with all of his resources, never at once, when he sees that there's trouble brewing, and it could be something that lasts a long time, why isn't he going into mediation? Why isn't he finding the most skilled mediators in the state to come down with all of his billionaire money and just pay for like the most lavish mediation experience ever and get everybody on the same page and squash the beef? Why isn't he trying to do that?
It's in the tape. It's in the recording, because he is completely delusional. He's living in a bubble, as these like higher up people end up kind of getting into. They end up living in these really restricted places where they're restricted about who they speak to, right? Frequency, they're where they move, everywhere they move, only a certain access to information. He's living delusionally at this point in the recording. At this point, he's sitting there and believing what they're saying. So when he's saying that, he's saying, like, he just literally said that the allegations against Justin Baldoni were manufactured.
So why still does he not want to mediate with a person who he thinks is lying?
Well, again, because he's swept up in the combat. Like, he's literally in his own. Listen, it
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Especially
if
when
you think somebody's attacking your business,
calmly talking to this woman.
Yes,
he's like sitting there talking to her calmly. He's sitting there like, yeah. He sounds melancholy, like I said. He sounds sad. He's sitting there talking all calm.
He's like, there'll be 2 dead bodies when I'm done.
Yeah, casually talking about
what?
Like.
He sounds like
the murder
psychopath.
of fucking tens of thousands of Palestinians as an example of what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's really fucking eerie, and I'm surprised that she...
You made this point 100 times, and I think you should make it 100 more between now and the fucking trial. Why he wouldn't just take care of it. Guys, let's get in the room.
There is
let's
nothing
get this sorted.
you cannot accomplish through mediation. Before the conflict starts, before the daggers...
I've actually been in them.
I'm saying before the daggers come out, he's expecting trouble. He could have squashed this at the beginning, right? Instead, they fucking spent all their money on fucking Melissa Nathan and ruined their careers, It's just remarkable that like before he can tell, like he's got his ear on the fucking tracks, right? And he can hear the stampede coming. Why he isn't trying to like fortify his situation, I'll never understand it. I don't know how such stupid people become billionaires. Okay, do you want to hear more from the chat?
I'm telling you, they actually go in really smart, and then they end up getting drowned by within the bubble that they create for themselves. You end up surrounding yourself with the people that you want to be around. He's talking about it right here with the Baha'i faith. So when you surround yourself with all the yeses and all the nods and all the things that you need to support every idea or every thought, you have nothing challenging any kind of convention in front of you anymore. You lose convention. Convention goes away, it dissolves, and it gets replaced by this grand idea that you have, or these grand ideas, or these demented versions of reality that get skewed by this completely limited, looking through some kind of billionaire sphere that just completely distorts the world, like a lens might, make your face thin or fat. The world is, just altered by his lens.
He's looking at everything through a billionaire lens.
Yeah. Just like that.
Do you want to hear more from the chat?
Of course.
Ritus? Did we figure out how that's pronounced?
I don't know.
I'm screwing it up. Okay. Said only part of the audio that matters at all is him saying that he has lawyers ready and media people and PR are already busy at work. Yeah,
that tells you what's going on. That we know this. We already know this because we already saw the texts from Jennifer Abel to Melissa Nathan when she is qualifying what Justin Baldoni wants from her, which is to know that she can bury Blake Lively.
Yeah.
So we know that that's active. And here you have him speaking in this manner of, I don't know how to put it, but this manner of what? A kindness, kindredness, meekish manner, very calm and.
Foz said, this is interesting. One of the YouTube lawyers said that there was no retaliation when this call happened because Steve Sarowitz said he would defend himself if Lively did anything, but at that point hadn't.
Right.
But here's why I disagree with that. Because he is not specifying what the if Lively did anything is. He said if she crosses a line. That's very, very fucking vague. So he's already planning on retaliating against her for what we don't know.
Right.
So if she even spoke up, maybe that's the crossing the line. Is her speaking up and telling the truth to a bunch of people? Is that a line that's crossed where he's going to retaliate against her? We don't know.
Well, we know she crossed the line.
It's her filing a lawsuit of that line. Then that makes it not retaliation because he's like, okay, I'm going to protect my studio. But at the point where he's just being too vague for us to know what he's trying to defend himself from, and so we can't. It seems like it is retaliation to me. The lawyer said that there was no retaliation when this call happened because Steve said he would defend himself if Lively did anything, but at that point,
it's not retaliation. It's the intent to retaliate that he is declaring. He has not retaliated at this point.
It is the intent to retaliate.
He has the intent to retaliate.
But this isn't retaliation.
The problem that he ran into was that he did retaliate, which is weird for a guy who runs an HR company, but he retaliated. And look. While I think retaliation is stupid, it's a funny thing. Like in sports, they always you hear fans like of their own team screaming at their own players at the TV. I do it all the time because the guy who gets called in the skirmishes after the play, it's always the guy who retaliates. So if like one player goes in and smacks one player upside the head, the player turns around and retaliates. That's when the flag gets thrown.
That's true.
So he lays the threat.
It's really funny. This is really interesting. So Foz said one of the YouTube lawyers said that there was no retaliation when this call happened. Yeah, well,
correct.
If you're looking at it as if this is evidence of retaliation, then yeah, of course you're not going to see retaliation.
There's no retaliation here.
That's so interesting that a YouTube lawyer would get it that wrong, right? Because obviously she's presenting this as evidence that he plans to retaliate.
No, there's an intent to retaliate, and then the retaliation occurred,
which is very clear.
And he already, by the way, the other thing that this proves. Or, doesn't prove, but because it's already been proven, but it shows that they engaged in this PR campaign. So we've got publicists working, and look, he's not saying what they're doing specifically, but at one point in this conversation, he's dividing up social media, who likes who,
Yeah.
And this is in the same context of him talking about having these publicists
Yeah, he's
engaged.
already seeing it as like her side, his side, which is like, that's not how you're supposed to see the star of the movie and the director of the movie that you produced.
Brian Freeman said on the Megyn Kelly show that he was going to sue Blake Lively. He was going to sue Ryan Reynolds into oblivion.
That's right.
He said that he was going to pile on the evidence, that he had nothing but evidence.
Yeah.
Right? He said all these things. But where I'm going that's most important is, guess what he did after he said those things? He filed the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Sarowitz promised to retaliate. He promised to spend a lot of money retaliating.
It's so weird that
He
a YouTube
promised
lawyer wouldn't recognize that.
to bring death upon them, not just by his the figurative or a metaphoric death between him and them, but the metaphoric death of them to many others. So his scope is stated. He wants to make sure that other people, not just him, hates Blake Lively. He said it.
Yep.
It's there. He laid that intention and then he followed through with that. So, every time you go, the one thing you always start with is, where's the motivation? What's the motivation? He laid all of that down. The foundation for retaliation is laid like a foundation for a fucking casino. This shit is thick.
Casino.
Or a shopping mall. Or LeBron James' house.
Or LeBron James' house, right.
Beverly Hills. It's not even a mansion at that point. Like, if you're going to spend $300 million on a house.
Don't start on LeBron
If you're going to
James'
spend
house.
$300 million on a house, they shouldn't call it a mansion. We have to come up with a new name that's not a mansion.
It's Mega Mansion.
Mulsion. Mega mansion? A mega mansion. There you go.
Foz is going to catch up on the live tomorrow. Good night. And then a bunch of Z's.
Good night.
Also,
Good night, Foz.
Claire is a bit cringe.
Claire is great. Yeah, so listen about that. Hey, it sucks, bro. I would not believe this to necessarily be the best call she's ever taken.
Lee said, could you imagine working with Claire? I couldn't do it.
I just want to dog on her because I don't know her, like I don't know this woman. Look, that call was cringe. The call was cringe. She might be a perfectly awesome human being. I have cringe moments, fucking Guilty Angel's not coming back here anymore because I had my moment where I shouted back at her for what I believe was spreading bullshit lies about somebody she didn't know.
I also am really, really bad on video calls and phone calls because I have like a specific type. I don't know if like there's like autism flavor in there or something, but I really struggle with the timing. So I will do this sort of thing too, where I'm not as bad as this audio was, but I'll find myself like cutting people off accidentally because my timing is all fucked up. Like I think they've stopped talking and then I start, but they haven't stopped. So I realize I'm stomping on them. It's messed up, man. Some people just don't do video calls very well. That might be her issue. It was pretty extreme, though, so maybe there's something else going on.
I don't know.
Lisa Thames is with us.
Lisa
said, I'm still recovering from oral surgery. I wanted to say hello. I've been listening.
It's good to hear from you. We're going to review your son's movie today.
I don't think we have time today. We're probably going to push it till tomorrow. Because we have to talk about a diamond heist. But first, I want to get through the rest of these comments.
Okay, let's go.
I hope your recovery from your surgery is going well.
Yes, Lisa, I hope you're getting well. Oral surgery, God.
Hanada said, that's why Baldoni and his supporters pile on Lively for promoting the movie with alcohol on events. They think they're so much better because they don't drink. Do you have anything to say about
it again?
Where'd you go?
Please just say it again to a comment.
What comment?
Somebody called Good Bitchin' Lady.
Yeah.
He said, no consent baited him. Claire baited him. There was no death threats, no retaliation, and there was no however defense. But let me just first of all, again, if Claire had already asked Justin Baldoni to be off the set, if there was this thing brewing that looked like there was going to be this big dispute about the conduct on the set or just between these people, if she felt in any way whatsoever that this call might include a conversation that puts her on the spot or that she might divulge something that could be mischaracterized or that could be used against her in some way. Like, we just don't know what she was going through. So to turn her into this person who's baiting somebody seems like a stretch. And listen, I understand where you're coming from because she was like, you'd do anything to protect the studio. And that does seem a little baity. Sound is glitchy again.
It's probably because you're leaning into your mic.
That's not it. I have to fix it another time. Hopefully it'll get better. I don't know what's going on. Oh, let me see something here. Gosh. Well, there was no mention of that during the call. No mention of what?
No, they didn't mention it. We are
What
just
are we
going
talking
by what
about?
they said. The things you were saying that happened before the call. It doesn't matter. There were literal death threats.
I said if.
Like when you say there will be 2 dead bodies when I'm done, a court will interpret that one way. So whether he is just joking about it, I don't know. Whether he can say that he was being sarcastic, I don't know. But those words verbatim are death threats. So you can't say there were no death threats. It's a really insane way to talk about people that you've worked with.
Well,
there's people that he's talking about making these death threats to that helped earn him millions and millions of dollars. And I just don't think that it's a reasonable thing to do to criticize somebody for talking like that about Blake Lively, who has enriched his... When she attached a Taylor Swift movie, it made Steve Sarowitz more rich. I don't know why he has such beef with her.
Well, we do know why, conceptually at least.
Yeah.
But listen, I had my point. I couldn't get to it, which sucks for me. Glitching bad. What the fuck? I don't understand why this is happening. Is it still glitching? No, it's better now. Yeah, I don't know. It came back. I'll have to try to get to it tomorrow. I will get to it tomorrow. In the meantime, we're just going to have to deal with the fact that my sound is glitching. Okay. It seems to be okay at the moment. Hopefully it'll stay okay. I'll try not to get too excited. In full context, there was no threat, Blake. So let me just get this, because I don't agree with you, Angela. I don't think that there was a threat of death. It's, they call it a credible, you got to add the word credible, and there's no credible death threat in this call. What there is this unhinged example of how he plans to retaliate with as much might as he can muster against this woman for filing her retaliation complaint. For filing her SH complaint or any complaint, whatever he called crossing the line. And we can clearly see that she crossed the line because we can see that the damage has been done. So I don't think this is this does not prove, this is not evidence of retaliation. It is evidence of the intent to retaliate given certain conditions. And it appears as though those conditions have been met. Again, he talks about manufacturing, Blake Lively manufacturing lies about Justin Baldoni to take him down. There's no motive for why. There's no motive for why. And it's not to gain creative control. She's been in the business for almost 30 years, bro. She's not trying to wrest control of movies away from directors. It's never happened in her career before. It'll never happen in her career, because this is not how it works. So it's just an extreme stretch to try and paint,
Is this just, these just aren't sincere comments. I mean, we've already addressed so much of this.
Well, just hit him up. We'll just
Good
do
Bitch and Lady said, how do you people not understand how Justin is innocent? It's like, I just outlined it.
There is no innocence and guilt in this situation. There's only liable or not liable.
But it's also like he admits to sexually harassing Blake Lively.
He does.
He admits to not following proper legal protocol,
Yes, he
which
does.
is why she's named 4 laws in her lawsuit. Her what is it called? That one section, whatever, her claims. And then Justin Baldoni is in text messages directing his publicist to retaliate against her. It's just like, there's no way that you could know those things that are factual. According to Justin Baldoni, he is liable for all the things that Blake Lively is accusing him of. It's just, I don't understand. Good Bitch and Lady saying, how do you people not understand how Justin is innocent? What I don't understand is what Justin's defense is. This is what I'm waiting. I want to know what his defense is. It seems like all anybody wants to say is that Blake Lively is a bad person, but what is his defense for the claims that he has admitted to that she's made against him? It's wild. You guys have to reread his documents, because he admits that him and Jamie Heath sexually harassed Blake Lively on his set. And you're not allowed to get away with that in a workplace.
Well, first of all, it's interesting that you say that because it's not about getting away with it. It's supposed to be handled.
It's supposed to be handled.
Like claims are investigated. Claims are not just, she's not just believed. That's not how it works. When you go and you make a complaint at a company, I've done it. When you go and you make an HR complaint, they do a little investigation and then they make a determination. And at the end of the determination, they decide whether or not the complaint is credible. So if they turn around and they say to Blake Lively or any other complainant, hey, we looked into your claim and it doesn't appear as though we can't see any proof of this violation. And without that, we can't move forward with one solution or another. So what we've done is this, and then they have to they put together their solution to the problem. And the solution to that problem, if they can't prove SH, is they say to the person, to the accused, listen, you got to watch what you say to her, and then you tell that to the person. So you say, hey, this person's been warned, and they know now that they can't say these kinds of things in front of you or in your presence.
That's
or
right.
They can't, behave in this specific way in your presence. That would have been a start. Well, that's how it's supposed to go. That's how it actually goes.
I know.
So if Blake Lively files a complaint or complains and then there's no resolution to that, then that becomes an unresolved SH complaint. But the SH complaint itself, and I just want to emphasize, this is very strong. This is a very important thing because a lot of Baldoni supporters, I think, seem to get this idea that SH is this big criminal act, and it's not. It's a complaint. It's a mere complaint. And these complaints are normally just handled internally. They're almost never handled through litigation because, according to the CRD, there are benchmarks for what is really a litigious form of SH versus an internal form of SH. And it is true, although we don't know because it hasn't yet been determined, that her SH claims on their own may not have been enough for a litigious situation and only enough for a complaint or a filing of a complaint, but not given permission to sue. The whole reason why the CRD exists as the
Civil Rights Department.
The Civil Rights Department. The reason why that Civil Rights Department exists is that you literally apply for the right to sue. You provide them with what would be adequate enough evidence for them to say, it appears as though the litigant, the complainant, right, has enough here, has shown enough to the CRD to warrant a deeper dive. And that deeper dive is a lawsuit, right? So
I don't know that it's worthwhile to spend so much time trying to convince people that at this point still don't know the story. Like
I'm going to do it.
Like they still don't understand what Justin Baldoni has said about himself that makes Blake Lively's case. Like they still don't know that. I don't know.
One of the smartest people I've ever met in my life said repetition is the mother of skill. I'm going to try and teach these people, if I can, how to interpret the evidence more clearly.
Lacey brought up a really good point. This is really interesting. Don't you remember how they were like rabid in their criticism of Blake Lively for saying grab your girls, wear your florals, which of course was a Sony tagline that they had been using for 2 weeks in press and media before she ever uttered it. They pitted
the entire world against them for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, so Lacey's pointing out that Steve Sarowitz sounds very proud about how he has Lily Bloom's flower shop in the theater.
Yeah.
But so he's very proud of it. And somehow everybody wants to blame Blake Lively for everything being extra floral and flowery when they're talking about DV. But Steve Sarowitz is like, yeah, we have this really great Lily Bloom's flower shop. I don't know.
Well, it's just another kind of inconsistency with that guy because, he says on the other hand, on the one hand, that their Bahá'í inspired movie theater won't show anything with violence and won't show horror films, but yet it has the floral shop to a movie that they wanted to emphasize the violence in.
Yeah, Justin Baldoni's cut was probably a lot more violent.
Well, we know that Justin Baldoni wanted to focus on the domestic violence in the movie. But the movie we know contains violence, disturbing violence. Justin Baldoni on the red carpet, when I get my deck in this week later, I'm going to cue this up for you guys so you can hear it. But because he goes into this like deep, melancholic state of mind as he's talking to the interview on the red carpet about describing getting involved in.
Oh yeah, no, he's like almost like traumatized. Where he's talking about
getting in that headspace.
Justin Baldoni's talking about playing the role of Ryle and how he went. There's two different interviews. There's the red carpet one where he was like, it was really harmful, like to him. He has to like shake off the emotions, like he does that actor thing. I don't know that anybody's ever like, been distracted and gazed off into the middle distance and thought, and then like shook their head to get it out. I think that's just like an actor's choice. But anyway, whatever. He does it on the red carpet. And then there's another interview where he talks about how he would sometimes go too far as when he was playing Ryle. Yeah. And he would rely on Blake Lively to show him whether he's gone too far. And I remember very early on being like, oh, that's how you're going to defend yourself. You're playing an abusive person. So when you're not waiting for consent or checking in with your scene partner about how you're behaving and she feels offended, you're just going to blame that you were in character. You're too method to respect her. I was like, okay, this is what you're going with. Because it was both like there was already enough of a dispute that for a week already, he had engaged his crisis PR. So I wonder whether they had prepared him to make these sorts of statements where he was going to blame his method acting for why he crossed boundaries with his scene partner.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear from the chat more?
And the interesting thing about like blaming your method acting is that you maybe don't method act if you're going to direct. Like those two things don't combine well.
You can't do it. Yeah.
Method acting and directing.
He wasn't method acting. He was just going to blame.
I know that it's a lie. We saw it on the set. When he's sitting there doing the slow dance, he's talking about their personal lives, and then he goes in for the horny growl. I mean, you can't tell me he's slipping in and out of character while he's sitting there telling one of the operators to frame up a certain way while he's sitting there, and you can't do that in character.
Mateo,
did you ever hear that? I read for you Stephen King, or not Stephen King. I'm sorry, Steven Spielberg had to go and ask, Daniel Day-Lewis, who was playing Lincoln. He had to go, Mr. President, the current occupant of your house, Obama, would like to meet you. So I've come to ask if you would like to have him present as we make this next amendment, and then of course, Daniel Day-Lewis as president, Abraham Lincoln said, no, we won't see him.
We won't see him.
So method acting is like that. This is like that is the core of method acting. So the idea, like when you look at method acting isn't something you just slip in and out of while you're wobbling on a set or in a scene. It's something that you literally stay in morning, noon, and night. You live the character morning, noon, and night. You go home as the character. You eat as the character. You go to bed as the character. Yeah. Your family treats you like you're the character.
Okay, I get it. Do you want to hear from the chat?
So Justin Baldoni wasn't doing that.
No, of course he wasn't. Mateo said, remember to explain to us why Steve Sarowitz wanted the complete audio released. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a great time for that. I think it achieves certain things for him that I think he thought would be helpful in the context. First of all, remember, the story had already broke. We already knew that he was comparing the slaughter of Palestinians to the kind of ire he was going to bring and the kind of slaughter he was going to bring to anyone who tries to fuck with his studio from It Ends With Us. So that was already out there, and that already looked bad. So what does the whole audio do to try and make that look at least better? And there's a couple of things. First of all, I think that he clearly demonstrates that he does not want the dispute, that he's not like, when you read Justin Baldoni talking about I'll go to war, this is not Steve Sarowitz. Steve Sarowitz is actually far more like, I would like to avoid war. Can we please avoid war? He's his absolute, secret lover, Justin Baldoni, because I swear that guy's crushing on him. That's what we'll call it. His crush, Justin Baldoni.
His man crush?
His man crush, Justin Baldoni, on the other hand, he was ready to go to war. So I think that it casts Sarowitz in a more malleable, flexible state, which, by the way, is probably a sign of, I know, dude, Cosmic Ridge is like 2 hours of Baldoni. We're just getting through the questions now, but it's a big drop. I'm sorry.
Do you recall where Steve Sarowitz said he was located? Was that Missouri? No.
I don't know where he is located. Michigan? Or where he was calling from. He's in
'Cause I was just-
California, I thought.
No, he was talking about, they were talking about where he was living and somebody coming to visit him or something. I can't remember, but I know that where she was a one-party consent state. I think he's calling from his home, which is in a different state, and I'm wondering if that is also one-party consent state for recording phone calls.
We're doing the reviews tomorrow, by the way. Just so you know, we're going to do the reviews tomorrow, and we have like a bunch. I wanted to get to all of them, but what have we got just to look forward to?
Oh, yeah. This weekend we watched 2 documentaries and we watched 2 movies.
Yeah, we watched 2 films.
I curated a wonderful horror movie double feature.
Yeah.
Of the horror genre of nice white man who owns a house, holds captives, and makes them engage in a game.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are 2 movies that fit that. There's the first Black Phone, not the sequel because that just came out.
Black Phone, yeah.
And also Heretic.
Yeah. Okay. Black Phone came as a recommendation, I think, and then the documentaries we saw this weekend was Perfect Neighbor. An unbelievable event. Perfect Neighbor, and you're not reviewing it yet. No.
And also I Like Me about John Candy.
Yeah, I Like Me Too.
I like you too. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow because we don't have time. But tonight, if you want to change topics.
Yeah, let's do it.
Guys.
Heist of the century.
I love a good heist. Okay. We had a heist this weekend. Oh, I got to tell you, the astrology community is just like gleeful because it couldn't have been perfect that there is a Mercury and Mars conjunction in Scorpio. Scorpio is most closely associated with the god Hades, who rules the underworld. You guys probably heard about Hades, but he remarkably climbed up from the underworld to steal Persephone, who is a beautiful goddess. Okay. These people literally with Mercury and Mars conjoining in Scorpio climbed up a ladder, broke into a museum and stole precious jewels.
That's just the craziest thing.
It's just like
astrologers are literally hopping around going, you have no idea what you guys are even talking about.
And Mercury and Mars conjoined too is like really sneaky shit, like really cool, like movement on a plan of like, stealing. It's just like, it's perfect. Anyway,
well, that's my first
broad
house.
Daylight
so
heist.
Watch your tongue.
Huh?
I said that's my first house. So watch your tongue.
Yeah, right. I know. There's a bunch of things. It's like a list of 6 things that Scorpio talks about. Anyway, okay, listen. So it was a broad daylight heist at the Louvre in Paris. Are you with me? Are you listening?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's so exciting. So it was like Ocean's 14. Okay, there was a group of people. They fled on motorcycles. First of all, if you want to do a heist, you got to get yourself some of those yellow vests.
You got to get yellow vests.
Because apparently you can get away with anything if you wear a yellow vest. So they got one of these like one of those like what are those little like construction trucks with a ladder?
Yeah.
So part of the Louvre apparently is under construction. This is why they think
renovation.
Renovation, right?
Yeah.
They think it might have been a inside job.
Yeah.
Because so it wasn't being watched as closely or something. Because it was under renovation, whatever. They climbed a ladder from one of these little trolleys, and then they cut through a glass, and then they went in and cut through this huge container. I don't know what they call it. They're not made of plexiglass, but they look like it. They're obviously like this huge protective display cases, and they stole several crowns and tiaras that belonged to French royalty. From like, I don't even know.
Which they obviously plan to dejewel and melt and sell.
Oh, that's what they're saying?
Well, for sure. I mean, they're not going to sell.
They're saying
they can't sell the actual crown.
They can't like sell
unless
them
they're
on the
holding
black
it for
market.
ransom.
Anyway, and then they made off. The heist took 4 minutes, which is a super.
7.
No, the entire heist was 7 minutes. They were inside for 4 minutes, which is a super long time. I don't know if you've ever watched a heist movie.
I don't know if you've ever done 4 minutes of stand-up comedy.
It's a long time, right?
Oh, it's a fucking lifetime.
Yeah, they must have been sweating bullets.
I bet you they thought it was way too long.
Way too long. I wonder how many things went wrong.
Probably not, because I'll tell you what, man. You can only pull this off, right? We're talking about the most rudimentary
and they dropped
heist,
one.
And they dropped one on the way out.
They dropped one of the crowns on the way out.
Which got damaged.
So they tried to steal 9 crowns and tiaras, and they ended up dropping one. So they managed to make off with 8 of them. Oh, somebody's going to be in trouble back at the hideout.
4 people are suspected in the crime.
4 people?
They don't have individuals yet. Broad daylight. Broad fucking daylight. Rolled up. No Mission Impossible shit.
No Mission Impossible shit, because if you're seeing what's
The Louvre.
The Louvre is under renovation. You see some guys in fucking yellow coats or yellow vests or whatever use one of these fucking like ladder trucks, or you're like, oh, okay, they're doing some renovating work. So nobody suspected it. Amazing.
I'll address that in a minute, good bitch. Yeah, absolutely fucking amazing. I wonder how fast they're making a movie about it right now. They're already making the movie.
I know,
Somebody's already making the movie.
They're calling
the script is probably in rewrites already.
I know.
Right? This thing happened like 2 days ago. There's probably like 30 spec scripts going down instantly, right? In Hollywood. We're not talking about like amateur writers who haven't yet made it. I'm talking like fucking writers been like, sitting around like, I haven't written in 7 years. And they're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
They're just like trying to race to try and get this fucking thing, get a draft of their spec script of the Louvre heist.
It's not that they haven't written in 7 years. It's like they have a whole stack of like waiting to be finished work, and they just shoved it all the way aside, like off the desk onto the floor, so that they could work on this one.
Good Lord.
Anyway, I was so excited to hear about it. I can't wait to hear more. I'm like consuming all of the news because I just think it's so exciting that they did a daytime heist at the fucking Louvre.
They found a vest. They dropped the crown. There's some. Oh,
there's an angle saw. What is it called? That they got through the window.
With an angle saw of some kind?
Yeah. I just think it's so crazy that they like literally climbed a ladder and stole precious jewels. And that's exactly what Hades did. It's just amazing.
It's so funny how everyone's like, and listen, I mean, I understand it, right? It's the museum and I love going to museums and I love seeing shit that was on people's heads hundreds of years ago. Especially, when it's as beautiful as, there's a certain amount of anger that comes with that too. Cause you're just like, fuck these guys, man. Because it's just like it never ends with their jewels. And
totally.
So it's a little
like France didn't make any of those jewels. All of those jewels are stolen. That's stolen wealth for sure.
It's all stolen wealth.
Yeah. So it doesn't really who does it really belong to ultimately?
There was an expert on CNN, and he's an expert because he's a former jewel thief, and he has a pretty impressive track record if you believe him, which is that he something $18 million in jewels that he's he was eventually caught, did his time, he's out now, all that stuff. But he thought the whole job was...
I know. He heard of this news and he was like, it's my time to shine.
Yeah, well, he said it was impeccably planned, which it was obvious, right? Like, what a beautiful plan. And he also thinks, as do others, that it was an inside job because there was this renovation going on. There was an opportunity. There was a window of opportunity, and they went through it, literally, and they stole a bunch of gems. It's the craziest story ever. We're going to obviously keep following it to see what happens. And
so there's a lot of... I think there's a lot of people in France who are really worried about like whether they can reclaim those crowns, and they're really concerned about where they're going to end up. And then all of the people who are on like the criminal side of it, where like they know these sorts of criminal, like this guy who was interviewed, who's like a jewel thief. He's like, oh, they don't care about the crowns. They're going to scrap them for parts, They care about those jewels because they're extremely exquisite old jewels that you cannot find anymore.
Yeah, everything now is cut by computers, right? So these diamonds are all chisel cut. They're extraordinarily high value because if they're like cut for a queen, they're going to be the best cutting in the world, right? Among the best diamond cutting in the world. So it's just going to be exquisite craftsmanship that's going to make those guys who look through those loops loopy. They're going to go nuts. They're going to have to excuse themselves, So it's a very interesting, I can't wait to see how it develops. I hope they get away with it. I hope it turns into Gary Cooper.
Really?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Gary Cooper?
Gary Cooper, the guy that fucking stole all the money and
DB Cooper.
DB Cooper. Not Gary Cooper.
They have never identified
DB Cooper.
DB Cooper.
DB Coops, as I call him.
He was the guy who what did he steal? Was it a bank robbery or something?
It was a pile of money, right? That he jumped out of the plane with, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then he jumped out of an airplane.
Yeah,
never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again.
That guy probably fucking died.
Hey, listen.
He's still living large somewhere in the Caribbean.
You just fucking give it up for the Robin Hoods.
He's hanging out in Rio de Janeiro sipping a pina colada. A caipirinha.
I hope they get away with it.
I do too.
Look, I mean,
because they're all stolen jewels anyway. This is
why.
This is how I feel about it.
If it was like painting or something,
oh, I know,
I'd be a little less casual about it, less nonchalant about the whole thing. But because like painting is something like you don't fuck with that. Whatever. But like jewels, the root of evil. What they fight over. Mm-hmm. They fight over the jewels. They fight over the fucking gold. They fight over all this mess we're in is all about that nonsense. So, yeah, steal it, man. Melt it down and give it to the kids.
They might find out, like, okay, so we just recently watched a heist documentary where they found out who had done it because they identified from surveillance footage who had been casing the place the most. They're like, there's this one guy who comes here like every day, and that's really unusual. Like, usually you go to a museum once, maybe twice, but this guy shows up a lot.
Yeah,
so
the
he's probably
investigation's
involved.
on, dude. The investigation's on. What's gonna be crazy is if they catch these guys and then they're like, so where is it? And they're gonna be like, well, we melted that shit, boo. Like if they catch them and they don't get the, it's gonna be like, oh, bro, you're never gonna get out of jail.
But think about it. Like, if you think about all of the heist movies, no, not the movies, because they always glamorize it, but the documentaries that I've seen, there's a few really good. There's one called Heist on Netflix. It's really awesome. But this time right now is the most nervous time. Yeah. Like, if you think about it right now out in the world, there's a bunch of fucking crown thieves who are like sweating it, hoping that neither of them talk, hoping that the reward for the return of these crowns or information leading to the suspects isn't big enough that makes any of them turn, Yeah. They're just really trying to, who knows? Maybe they're going to turn on each other. Maybe that's what's happening this
Cosmic said there's a new Josh O'Connor movie about a day and time museum heist.
A daytime museum, The Mastermind.
The Mastermind.
I'm fucking watching that right away.
Oh my God. Cosmic Urgency and his
I don't know if you guys know this about me.
Of knowledge.
Today,
of movie knowledge.
Today I'm coming out of the closet as a heist fan.
Well, I mean,
I think heists are so exciting.
They're fucking awesome. What do you mean? That's that whole, what is that with all those guys?
The Oceans?
Yeah, the Oceans.
Oceans 14, they're saying?
Yeah, and then fucking...
The Ratchag said this was done by Oceans 30. Daniel Ocean needs to be questioned.
I love it. Good Bitch says that Blake tried to heist the It Ends With Us movie, but you guys probably already know that. I'm just trying to figure out why you think that's true.
I know.
And
has there been any evidence about that?
I just think why you think that's true, and what do you think that she was like? What's in it for her? There's no reason for her to wrest control of a movie away from its director.
Also, she never did either. They still own the movie. They still won all of the profits from it. She gained absolutely nothing from whatever it is you claim that she did. He provided no evidence whatsoever that she ever displayed any sort of.
I'm just trying
any
to
of this behavior
why,
you're talking about.
Why? You got to get down to the motive. Why? Why would she try to wrest control of a movie? And the only thing I can think of is the only thing that makes sense to me. And just so you know, I'm actually, I'm not the most prolific guy in the world, but I've been through it. I've made movies in Hollywood. I've worked with movie stars. I've gone through the lawsuits. I've kind of been through the ringer a little bit, and so I have some insight to offer. And I know that Blake Lively, who's been somebody who's worked for 30 years with a good reputation in town, very good, if not excellent reputation in town, who's worked for nearly 30 years in the business, already knows going in that she can't wrest control of a movie away from anybody. As it relates to creative control, if that's what you guys are wanting to kind of paint her as, somebody who's trying to wrest control of the film away from Justin Baldoni creatively, there's only one circumstance where I could see that would ever happen or even attempt to happen. And the first would be that he's doing a really bad job.
Justin Baldoni.
Yeah, that it's perceived that he's doing a bad job.
By Sony.
By everybody. By Blake Lively, certainly, because if Blake Lively is... So that would be one reason. And I'm not saying that is the reason. I want to clarify. I don't know what the reason is. But that's one reason. One reason might be that he's lost control of the movie. And so somebody has to regain control of the movie. Now, that loss of control can be broken down a little deeper, a little, more specifically. Like, for example, maybe Sony wanted to focus on less on DV, domestic violence, and more on women overcoming these horrors in their life, the triumph of a woman.
Like the book does.
So that could be an example where it's perceived as though he's losing control of the movie. Another way in which it could be perceived that Justin Baldoni is losing control of his movie is when he's doing things like adding like virginity, that virginity loss scene where the girl loses her virginity on camera. Not in the book, not in the screenplay, but added to the movie. And so that might be inconsistent with the idea that the studio had of the movie they wanted to put out. This is a really important distinction because if you have somebody who's inflexible at the helm of the movie, this is why you see director's cuts. Because if you see somebody who's inflexible and they're not willing to move the cut in the direction that the marketing and the studio believes it needs to move in order to make a $26 million movie earn $340 million in the box office, which is what obviously happened with It Ends With Us, so clearly a success story. So they might go ahead and like do things like not take the higher scoring cut. They might go ahead and say, you know what, we're going to let Blake Lively take a crack in the editing room. There's a text there that very plainly shows that it's Sony who prevented Justin Baldoni from going into the editing room, not Blake Lively. While that might have been a conversation between Blake and Sony, it's a decision made by Sony, and it's a decision that any producer would make in their good mind if the idea is that they need to get a fresher look at specific angles that are being taken on in the cut that Justin Baldoni is maybe showing inflexibility towards, or just simply not getting the note. Because what we do when we're making movies and we're writing screenplays is we get notes, loads of them, and we have to react to them, and we have to fucking, make something out of them. And so in this situation, the idea that she wrested control is probably almost certainly more like, hey, this guy's not doing what we need him to do when we need him to do it. And there's a bunch of supporting evidence, not just...
I think that your best point about this claim that she's wresting control is the point that you make about how who literally owns and controls all aspects of this film.
I'm talking about the creative control, because that part we know. We know that she couldn't have taken the movie.
It's either Wayfair or Sony. Blake Lively is just an employee.
Correct.
She does not have the ability to wrest control unless Sony or Wayfair gives it to her. Or there's just no way for her to fill that void because she is not at the level, the hierarchy. Even though she's an executive producer, she doesn't have control of any of the assets of that film. So I just think that that's really the most clarifying thing that you've offered with your filmmaking experience to me, for me to understand exactly how it's not possible. I believe that you're right, that Justin Baldoni's cut was seen by Sony and that they were like, okay, obviously we have really big problems here. And Blake Lively was willing to step in and lead the theatrical cut that Sony wanted. But that means that Justin Baldoni has to have beef with Sony because they're the ones that accommodated Blake Lively to do the things he has beef with her for. So I think it's just extremely telling that he never sued Sony for any of the things that he thinks Blake Lively did, but she couldn't have done it on her own. He is omitting a huge player in his complaint, right?
Yeah, let me just interject because I don't want this to go. I don't want this to get buried in our back and forth. In no way whatsoever was Justin Baldoni's cut problematic. Like that wouldn't be the way I'd characterize it. I looked at the scores. It scored well. If anything, they were excited about the cut.
Okay. They
probably had concerns with areas of the cut specific to those issues, if they had any concerns whatsoever. And they obviously did because they wouldn't continue cutting. Listen, here's something I want to assure every Justin Baldoni fan in the world, right? Sony is not going to take Blake Lively's side on a movie they're putting out. They're going to take the movie's side every single time. The movie's side. So they already know this is a 104-year-old studio. It is stacked, jammed tight with cubicles filled with people who are widely experienced in this space and who know what they're doing. They're not looking for Blake Lively's, they're looking for her input. They're looking for her contributions, but she is not going to run that show. And any thought that she is or did is just not based in any kind of reality. There's no way that the fucking film studio is going to acquiesce to Blake Lively on these issues. It's not going to happen. So the real question with this has to become, it's more complex. It's not just, was she poisoning Sony's mind? Again, their minds can't be poisoned at Sony. All Sony's going to care about is whether or not the movie can make the money that they expected from it.
Yeah, all Sony cares about is their business. This is the beef that, I mean, I'm not a filmmaker or anything, but I've been like filmmaker adjacent for like 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
Where like all my friends are in filmmaking and shit. And I know that the major beef that they have with studios is that studios only care about the business.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
It's why fucking Charlie Chaplin created independent artists. With all those other fucking icons. They created independent artists because the studios back then, Max Sennett, Paramount, all these others, they were just dictating everything that went out, and these guys couldn't express themselves as artists we're still in that situation.
The Rat Shack said it hasn't been determined if she was an employee or independent contractor. In their lawsuits, they describe, both of them describe her being brought on as an employee. Justin Baldoni is the employer because it's his studio.
Well,
so he's a co-owner of the studio.
So technically they work through a loan-out corporation, and they do that so they create certain tax advantages so they're not taxed as individuals. They are, so I guess, it could be construed as an independent contractor. But
no, that's true. That's structure. I only refer to her as the employee and him as the employer because that is the structure that they refer to. That they're all establishing in the beginning of their lawsuits. They establish this kind of shit for
the hierarchy
court,
is that the boss is Wayfarer, and they're the boss over everybody.
And Justin Baldoni is a co-owner of Wayfarer.
Yes,
so that makes him the boss.
He's the boss.
But as the director, he's the boss of the set too.
He's the boss of Blake Lively on the set. He's the boss of Blake Lively off the set, like in post. He's the boss. Justin Baldoni's the boss. Jamie Heath's the boss. And there's no way around that. Now, the as you pointed out already, Sony is obviously the middle there, right? And Sony is a big spoke in the wheel. And so, obviously if Sony sides with one side or the other, in the same way that Sony, for example, sided with Wayfarer at the beginning when Blake asked for her producing credit, and the studio demurred with Wayfarer, and they gave her instead an executive producer credit. You recall that?
Yep.
Right. So there's a moment where the studio supported Wayfarer, and so Blake Lively didn't get what she wanted. So later, the studio supports Blake Lively, and the reason, or we're assuming that they're supporting Blake Lively, they may not have. Because the other thing is look, if Justin Baldoni, if the perception is that the set is not being run well, they called it. You had Steve Sarowitz in the recording that we played for you tonight call it the
worst set.
No,
Justin Baldoni has been on.
No, called it the Baha'i set.
Yes.
So
he also called it the worst set. Justin
I know
Baldoni
that, but that's not
on.
my point. The point I'm talking about is the Baha'i set. And if you go and you create this so you're creating this environment that is not congruent with rules and regulations. It's not conforming to SAG. It's not conforming to the CRD. It's not conforming to the DGA. It's not conforming to IATSE. Or the Teamsters. It's conforming to a religion. And they speak about this in their own defense when they talk about, well, they're just not used to the way Baha'i people work.
Yeah.
Well, because that's not a workplace environment. That's your religion. That belongs in your places of faith or your homes or wherever you congregate.
Again, this is like I have long had this prediction that where Justin Baldoni ends up at the end of this is faith-based filmmaking.
He has no choice now. It's a wrap.
I think he's a skilled enough and experienced enough director that he's not going to stop filmmaking, but the only place that he's going to be able to work is faith-based because that's the only way that they're going to be able to have their
they'll work
Baha'i
again.
sets.
Mel Gibson makes movies.
Yeah.
And the guy is a bona fide racist. If you listen closely to what he said on that tape,
of course.
it is so unhinged. It is so god awful.
It
is the bottom of the barrel of humanity, and that guy is now casting a fucking giant movie about Jesus Christ.
I'm really conscientious of what I say now. I just said yeah, no, and I was like, oh my god, we were talking earlier about Claire saying that so often in the Sarowitz call.
Well, I was just always talking about how it's
it.
like an indicator of her like trying to not let somebody else talk. You weren't using it that way.
I am going to say that we're in overtime and my butt is numb, so maybe we should call it.
Guys, I'm sorry we didn't get to the other stuff. I know we got to the great heist. I definitely want to, we're going to follow that story like crazy. We're super stupid excited about it. So as we get more information about it, we'll bring it to the lives. And also, I think this tape is absolutely fascinating. I think it's the best evidence that has dropped so far in this entire case to us. I think it demonstrates an intent to retaliate against Blake Lively for her complaints and for her issues that she wanted to take up, which she had a legal right to do, which is why you cannot retaliate. So I think it puts him in really bad shape. We're obviously going to see what happens in the end. But I think that this evidence is wild. And I also think that it shows that there's a psychological problem with their set in general. Like I said, when I made my Christian movie, it was not a Christian set because that's not an equal place to work. That's not a safe place as as her, what's her name? Claire, as Claire put it, right?
Yeah.
A safe set.
Yeah, you're going to be excluding somebody. You're going to make somebody feel like they can't speak up.
A safe set has to be agnostic at best.
Mm-hmm.
At worst, I should say. It should be agnostic at worst. It should be practically atheist otherwise. Or just absent of, it's like, you don't want religion in your politics.
No, that's what they say. Like, so like they always say, they used to say, whatever, I don't know what they say anymore, but they used to be like at the bar, like if you go to a bar, that you should just make sure, because everybody's drinking.
Don't talk about religion and politics.
Don't talk about religion. Don't talk about politics.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense that you would want that on your set too. When everybody's working and they're stuck together for like 12, 16-hour days, Well,
they started on the Christian movie. They wanted to pray with everybody, and I was like, that's not cool.
We're not taking time to do that.
I don't pray with Christians. I don't do that. My prayer.
But just the time it takes. You're like, people are here to work. They want to go home.
That's not why I did it. That's not why I did it. It wasn't about time. I'll take the time if it makes sense. I'm not going to subject people who are not Christian to your Christian beliefs and your Christian. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to and I'm not going to have people come on and compromise their own principles by having to fake that they're Christian in order to be able to participate in a way to make a living today.
So they don't get fired, yeah.
Yeah, so they don't get fucking fired. Like, I'm not just going to do that.
Is that what he's talking about when he's like, we have a Bahá'í set? Does that mean that people are going to get fucking fired if they don't want to play along with your religious games?
Or alienated, or feel as though, or where their complaints are going to be ignored because they don't understand that we're Bahá'í, so we hug everybody. But your hugging is offensive to me. Your hugging is an invasion of my personal space and my privacy. So it gets ugly like that. Anyway, you're right. We got to go. You guys are so stupid fantastic. It was great to spend Monday with you. Missed you all weekend long, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Yep.
Good night. Good night.